this video has been made.
Our spirit never dies. In our hearts we hold the memories, reaching for the skies. Tito's legacy lives on in every heart and soul. United we stand as one nation. Oh, hey, yeah. By my brotherhood, diversity embraced, with unity and peace, we found our grace. From Slovenia to Macedon, Bosnia to Serbia, together we thrive. No obstacle we couldn't sever. Ah. In the heart of Europe, a nation stood strong. Yugoslavia, where all could belong. Under the leadership of a visionary man, Joseph Tito, the leader of our land. Yugoslavia forever, our spirit never dies. In our hearts we hold the memories, reaching for the skies. Tito's legacy lives on in every heart and soul. United we stand as one nation. Oh, hey, yeah. Yeah, yeah. By my brotherhood, diversity.
Hello, everybody. How we doing this fine evening, afternoon / morning? I'm coming to you from sunny Balkan Peninsula here to talk shit and take bubblegum. We had some problems with starting the fucking live stream
Wonderful,
over
a
on
new child
YouTube, which
soldier,
at this
I mean
point I'm just going to
subscriber.
completely scrap that platform. It is so fucking all over the top. Thank you, Mike Bishop, very much for the sub. Thank you, Jocula, for the resub. Welcome back. Jocula is an OG, and Mike
Wonderful,
Bishop as
a new
well.
child soldier,
Welcome.
I mean
I
subscriber.
wanted to fuck around a bit with the starting song, continuing the beautiful LARP of whatever that AI generated bullshit is. Thank you, Benjamilon, for the sub, and thank you, Singing Komina, the OG Pokemon up in here. Thank you to all my mods that are here, and thank you to everybody that is joining us on this beautiful day. I am a bit
Wonderful, a
fucking
new child soldier, I mean
happy
subscriber.
Easter, by the way, to those who celebrate today, and happy Trans Day, or I think that's Trans Visibility Day that is today as well. So whatever you're celebrating, I wish you happiness
Wonderful, a new child
and
soldier,
health
I mean
and
subscriber.
much money and as less suffering as possible in this decrepit little system that we have. Yeah, today, like for the last couple of days, I've been watching. I mean, no, literally yesterday, I spent the entirety of the day watching fucking Yellow Jackets, or what the fuck are they called? Like this fucking show, Yellow Jackets, I think. Yes, this thing. And I'm borderline traumatized because I've been watching it for like 7 hours straight. Literally 7 hours straight. And then I had nightmares about this shit. And one of the characters in the show like sleepwalks, and I sometimes sleepwalk. And I'm just so fucking tired. I really fucked up by watching this for so long because I was not able to sleep at all. Midway at around 4 a.m., my girlfriend wakes me up because I'm snoring like a psychopath. So I slept on the fucking couch. So apologies if I'm a bit unnerved today, or maybe not the most, talkative, even though basically everything we're going to be doing here is talking. But still, I didn't want to miss the stream, and I want to make them as common as possible. So first world problems, blah, blah, blah. You watch too much of a show. I love the show. I finished the first season, by the way. Incredible show. I really like it. The writing is great. The characters are great. The darkness that they explore is extremely interesting. I don't understand why they chose to go in the direction of making things what term should I use? walking in the fiction land. They should have made it as realistic as possible. But then again, I still haven't finished the show, so maybe it's maybe there aren't ghosts or demons or whatever you want to call it in the forest. Maybe the forest isn't alive and is trapping them, but because they're spending so much time in it, barely surviving, they're starting to kind of adapt to the ideology of what they think the forest is like, and therefore manifest inside of themselves as this weird thing that they're slowly building. And the kind of point at where I'm in the show, without spoiling much, they're basically becoming a little cult of their own. Also really like how you get to see what happens with these people afterwards. I can't go much into it without spoiling too much, but yeah, very good show. I recommend it if you have the stomach for it, of course. It is really hot here. I don't know if you can see just how red I am. I am very red. But I ordered an AC for this room, which will hopefully allow us to have a better time, if you know what I mean. But yeah. With that being said, today is going to be an interesting day. I have quite a few little things prepared for us. Few little things prepared. Yes, I've been watching some random Succession streams before. We're going to talk about wealth inequality. I'm going to look at it from the perspective of Deutsche Welle, which is our liberal darling, why the political worldviews of young men and women are increasingly diverging. We're going to watch Andrew Huberman exposed. That guy has always been an extreme cringe lord for me, myself, and I. And seeing more light being put on him is always cool. We're gonna look at the fucking YouTuber that got kidnapped. What the actual fuck? We're gonna look at some clout chasers. We're gonna talk about police. We might even talk about this video about from Economics Explained on why Africa is apparently still poor. Plot twist: it's capitalism and imperialism. Oh my god. Such deep analysis. We might do a theory hour later and so on. But yeah, it's going to be a chill stream. Again, I'm not in the best of moods. So stay with me, if you know what I mean. I can't always show up being, woo, yeah, let's chug a bottle of vodka and slam my head against the fucking machete or the microphone. And with that being said, let's start with the actual Deutsche Welle video. It's long, so it could be an interesting kind of jump-off point, shall we?
Something strange is going on with boys.
Isn't it incredible how these absolutely massive, conglomerates like Deutsche Welle are trying to push a more YouTuber aesthetic in what they're doing? We have won. We have won the culture war. The mass media is adapting to how the OGs, the leading revolutionary class of Gen Z presents content, and that is a guy in front of a mic. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, also leftist audio. You gotta love leftist audio. Let me just check. Okay, the mic, turn up the mic. Okay, I turned up the mic. Desktop audio, turn it up a little bit. Okay, let's get into this, shall we? Let's get into this. So I think I misinterpreted the fucking title of the video, why the political worldviews of young men and women are increasingly diverging. I thought they were talking about young people in general and young people being more and more radicalized, but apparently this is a comparison between men and women. So, okay, let's see where this goes, whatever the fuck.
In many countries around the world, young men are more likely to be less educated than women, to die from overdose, drinking, or suicide, and even to vote differently. A recent Financial Times report.
Don't forget to vote. Don't forget to vote. Mods, please correctly adjust the titles as we go through. Thank you very much. I love you. Kisses. Mwah, mwah, mwah. And again, thank you to all the subs.
Found that while young women are on
What, double audio? Fucking suck my double audio dick. There we go. Now it's fixed. Okay, no longer double audio.
average more progressive than their parents, as you'd expect from young generations, boys are becoming more conservative. Now, it's very difficult to define what it means to be conservative in one country, let alone around the world, but some experts think that one issue in particular could be driving this divide: gender equality. So why is this happening?
Women are hardwired to get their needs met.
Dude, Deutsche Welle getting in on this grift so fucking late. Thank you very much, King of Cheese 49420, best name in the game for the sub.
Wonderful.
Welcome,
A new
welcome,
child
welcome.
soldier. I mean, subscriber.
Deutsche Welle is getting so late into the grind. Like YouTube, like YouTubers have been talking about the manosphere for the last like 7 fucking years. Deutsche Welle is like, man, we gotta talk about this. Okay, welcome, beautiful white Western mass media. We're glad to have you with us.
Through a man.
Women in America and London, how combative they are and how hard it is for them to...
By the way, no, it's not Easter for me, chat. No, I do Chad Easter, and Chad Easter is Orthodox Easter date, 2024. Chad Easter is on the 5th of May, okay? The 5th of May.
submit.
So I think my sister is her husband's property, yes.
Many agree that
Wonderful.
misogynist
A new child
influencers like
soldier.
these
I mean,
are
subscriber.
radicalizing young.
Thank you, I read TOS for the sub, my love. I have definitely not read the TOS.
Man,
I'm kidding. No, hey, you Twitch. I've read it.
Andrew Tate is definitely in the conversation for the most dangerous person alive.
but I spoke to some experts who think there's a lot more going on.
Men who are struggling, who can't get status, who then feel insulted when this lower status group, women, is being assertive.
And while they don't always agree, what they have to say might surprise you.
Men aren't wrong to feel like their issues aren't getting much attention. No, they're not getting much attention.
Yes, but it's not specific men issues that aren't getting much attention. It is the alienation in which we find ourselves generally as a species. But males, because of their de facto sense of needing to be pampered and privileged at every fucking corner, start seeing the slowly degrading late stage capitalist environment, and they're like, man, shit is getting worse and worse and worse. And some of them, beautiful, courageous men that have class consciousness, properly point out that this is an economic system that is no longer working for them. But fucking orangutan, gorilla, tiny dick, monkey cucks, they go the other direction. They're like, no, it's because the woman has more rights, or because now there's trans people in sports. Yes, indeed. This is a story as old as time and as old as class consciousness has existed as a concept, because reactionaries will always find an outgroup to blame very real problems on. So yes, it sucks to be a dude. Obviously not as much as it sucks to be a woman or a trans person. It sucks to be a cis dude, but it sucks to be pretty much all the other categories as well, because the overarching larger intersectional system is what is fucking us over. It's not the vagina haver's fault. Thank you.
I reached out to who I think might just be the best experts on this topic. Richard Reeves, the president of the first and maybe only think tank in the world focused on the problems of boys and men. Alice Evans, talking with me from Seoul as she's traveling the world precisely to write a book on this topic titled The Great Gender Divergence. And Neil Shiminsky, a professor who interacts daily with the young generation and is famous on TikTok for his videos on these issues. So, let's jump right in.
My boy, Deutsche Welle straight up, like, I'm sorry. Like, this looks
He's
like
on
a
TikTok
sweet
for
boy.
his videos on these
but,
issues.
but let me
So-
just, okay, Deutsche Welle. Thank you, Cabbage Spiller, for the gifted sub. Thank you very kindly. So, look at this, and now look at my boy, okay? Look at my boy. Like, I don't know. Okay.
This episode.
Okay. Fuck you, YouTube. Okay, this, huh? Does this look inspired by something? One guy just says 3,000 patrons. The other has like a multi-billion-dollar corporation behind it. Hell, even this thing, like like what he's wearing. I constantly fuck with JT about what he wears, even though right now I'm literally just wearing sports gear. Like, thank you,
Wonderful.
Connor
A new
144 for
child
the
soldier.
sub.
I mean,
Thank you, my
subscriber.
beautiful child soldier. But yeah, even the clothes. Look,
Get some cool perk.
okay. I mean, I'm sorry. This one not that much, but you get my point. Get my point. It's not a corporation, it's the German state. Okay, a $1 trillion corporation called the German state. Thank you for fixing me, one L. Penken. Deutsche Welle is literal state media. Oh yeah, it says Deutsche Welle is a German public broadcast. Okay. You really want to call modern capitalist states like Germany? Okay, whatever. You do you, my beauties. You do you.
Oh, let's jump right in.
Wonderful, a new child soldier. Subscriber.
Thank you, Smoking Hippie, for the sub. Thank you very kindly. Welcome. The only point I was trying to make is that massive conglomerates understand that guy in suit screaming about conspiracies in a formal office doesn't necessarily attract new audiences. So they're copying what? They're copying the only institution on planet Earth that is attracting new audiences when it comes to political speak, and that those are guys like ourselves right here screaming into a microphone to a small or large audience, okay?
Lately, we have seen a lot of studies showing a growing gender divide. Some have even said that Gen Z is 2 generations, not 1, because on some topics like gender, boys and girls have very different opinions. So, what's going on?
So if we look at South Korea, China, the US, and also across Europe, we see that women, young women, tend to express more progressive views, concern for gender bias and also racial bias, whereas young men, not all, but some, may express concerns that gains for women's rights come at men's expense. There's this idea that women's rights might be a threat, and also in some parts of Europe, the idea of being...
Yes, because in-group and out-group so-called competition is fictionally created by any political class which wants to dissuade attention from the class question towards something else. And there has been not an easier target in the last at least 2 decades, but I would argue since the birth of our little species on this rotating rock, that has been an easier target than the vagina havers, okay? The females, the females, the womens.
Concerned about my...
But only since the 50s and the 60s have we entered kind of towards an era, at least on the Western Hemisphere, where the position of a woman is more actively questioned. That is a beautiful thing and allows women to be a more ingrained member of society. Is that used under capitalist contexts to further exploit the woman? Of course, but we're slowly progressing towards a world where this so-called differentiation between capability and gender is being minimized. But as that is being minimized, and as gender roles in general are being questioned, that allows obviously that gives a lot of ammunition to reactionaries to point out that, hey, this new thing that is changing is actually the cause of your particular ills or particular problems. That's the kind of the only fish hook political theory that works, and that is the more society progresses on a particular topic, on a particular question, a particular issue, the more ammunition reactionaries have to say the reason things are going badly is because this particular thing is changing, right?
Migration or foreigners.
So are young men just becoming more conservative?
Well, it comes back to what we mean by these terms, because there are other surveys which show that young men are just as likely to support gender equality as older men, right? So they're in favor of gender equality, but they're turning against feminism. And so what that means is that in their minds, at least, those two things are no longer...
Jesus Christ, Smoking Hippie, what the fuck did you just send me? Me as a Yu-Gi-Oh guy. I love it. You Gopnik, Yu-Gi-Opnik. Oh, I love it. This is nice. My eyebrows are a bit thicker and I'm not this handsome, but damn, this is lovely. Hello, everyone. I am Yu-Gi-Opnik. Yu-Gi-Opnik up in this bitch. I summon Death of Capitalism. I summon Painting Walls in Red. Thank you very much, whoever made this. This is very kind. This is very nice. Whenever you make shit like that, send it to me on Discord or send them here. This is very nice. You're talented. Thank you. And I'll wear 2 rings, though. It's nice. By the way, my other ring is just a memento mori. It's a little skull. It's a little skull. It's rusting already. This is real gold. This is not real gold. I paid a shitty amount of money for this, expecting that it would at least be stainless steel, but no. It's just rusting. Fuck me. 2 rings, one for the wife and the other for Mark's. Yeah, brother, yeah. But Mark's I've been wifed up with for at least a decade now. The woman's got to wait for her ring. I'm kidding, no. She'll get it. My friend commissioned it from me to draw for you. That's cool. That's cool. So you even got paid to draw me. That's awesome. That's nice. I'm Yugi Opnik.
The same. They're not synonymous.
Neil, and this is one of the main reasons I wanted to talk to you. That is, you actually teach these young generations and talk with them every day. So do you also see this divide in your day-to-day job?
Yes, there's absolutely a gender divide. I see it in the students that I teach. I also see it, I should mention, I have a 15-year-old daughter. I attended her middle school, so her 8th grade graduation when she...
Like men, when they get a daughter and for the first time in their life, they're like, I'm not criticizing this guy, but it's always funny. They get a daughter and for the first time in their life, they're like, oh my God, girls have it hard. What the actual Fukurino?
He was 14. And each of the students was asked to include an inspirational quote in a video that played before the ceremony. And the most popular figure to quote was Andrew Tate.
Lol.
People have come up with various theories to explain this divide, like on-radicalization or backlash against women's rights, and we'll get to all of these. But first, I want to highlight something sometimes missing in the general conversation, and that's that young men really have some issues. And you wrote a whole book about it, so I want to know your response.
Oh, let's concentrate on one group versus the other instead of saying that everybody is having issues, and because we want to address those, because we don't have enough education ideological education to address those issues, we pinpoint an out-group that we don't belong to, and we call them the people causing the issue, like Jesus fucking Christ. And while this further radicalizes the majority population, which is using this reactionary mentality against any sort of minority, well, that does push them further to the right. It also pushes the other one further left. That's always been a very interesting kind of conversation to be had as well. But let's see if they talk about it.
To what I think is the most common reaction you might get. Men's issues? Really?
Yes, well, really is that's quite a polite one. One interview I did, the first question was, when did you first start hating women? And so there is that kind of just that sense. The fact that you're focusing on boys and men means that you're somehow against women and girls, right? That's the zero-sum framing that is such a problem, I think, in this whole debate, which is the presumption you can only do one thing at a time, right? We can't think 2 thoughts at once. And there's still a huge amount we need to do on behalf of women and girls, especially in senior positions like in politics and boardrooms and technology and engineering and so on. There's still a lot to do. It's not as if somehow all the problems of women have been...
I might be misinterpreting him, but you just said more women CEOs. I'm so tired.
Been solved, and we ignore them and now turn our attention back to men. It is that we need to do both. And the last thing I'll say is that we shouldn't, in the end, probably separate out those problems, because men and women, to some extent, do rise or fall together in families and in communities. So it's a world of floundering men is very difficult to imagine as a world of flourishing women, or vice versa. And I think that was one of the central insights of the women's movement.
Absolutely. I think this is a really critical issue. Many people feel that they're struggling. So right now here in South Korea, women face the largest gender pay gap in the OECD. They face massive discrimination at work, and they feel that women are struggling. Meanwhile, South Korean men have mandatory conscription for the war in North Korea, and every single year.
The war in North Korea, guys. The war in North Korea. I doubt she's a like hardcore MLM that is like the protracted people's war in Korea. Though I think she genuinely thinks they're just trucking nades over the border.
100 men commit suicide during that mandatory conscription. I mean, it's absolutely horrific, hierarchical, and brutal.
Yeah, absolutely. And men are to a far higher. I mean, look at what's happening in Ukraine, etc., etc. Both with the Russian soldiers and Ukrainian soldiers. There are certain aspects that much more like hit men, quote unquote, harder than they do women. But again, this analysis needs to go back to why are these wars happening? Oh, imperialism. Why do we have imperialism? Oh, because of falling rates of profit and capitalism in decay. Okay, so maybe if we don't want millions of men or hundreds of thousands at the very least to be conscripted in armies that they don't want to really even fight for, maybe we should address the cause of those particular conflicts. But no.
So both sides have real grievances and difficulties. On top of that, many young Korean men are struggling to find brides. They're struggling to achieve status in a very competitive society. Their parents have invested so much in their education and now they're unable to buy a house. So, everyone is having a really tough time in a status competition game. So I am 100% with you that it's important to connect to people and learn about different life worlds and learn about and build compassion and support for one another.
So what issues do...
Exactly, and she said it just in complicated terms. The main way, what I think is the easiest way to...
Wonderful, a new child soldier.
Thank you very much,
subscriber.
Risk Inverse, for the sub. Thank you kindly, welcome. Just tell dudes that women have it hard too, and tell girls that boys have it hard too, and we are all in this together. Peace be upon you. But literally, that's the whole fucking gist of it. That's the whole gist of it.
Men face. And I'd like to start with education because some of the findings you have there are mind-boggling.
Boys and men are behind in...
And yeah, are women forcing conscription? Is that their fault? Very well put, Borogodok Cosmico, exactly.
In education at every level, from the age of 5 through to the age of 25, in every advanced economy and in pretty much every subject area. You can choose your metric, but you'll get the same story. And it's very interesting that it is pretty much a global phenomenon. And what that means is not just something about the American education system or the Spanish education system or the German education system. And interestingly, in Scandinavia, that's where you see the biggest education gaps. Men have fallen the furthest behind in Sweden, Norway, Denmark, and Finland, which are very, very gender egalitarian countries. So that's a pretty consistent story, is that if you take the gaps that existed, say, in the 1970s in favor of men, they're at least as big now the other way around, basically across the advanced world. And even in many developing countries and Middle Eastern countries, the girls are now ahead of the boys. So it's not just advanced economies now. It's like there's a worldwide gender gap, essentially.
Why is this happening?
Lol.
I think one big reason is that girls will typically just mature a little bit earlier than boys. So their brains develop a bit earlier. They're not smarter than boys. So on the tests of intelligence, there's really no gender gap at all, none. But in terms of grades and graduation rates and so on, young women and girls are typically doing better. And it seems to be that's like they just enter, they hit puberty earlier. That develops part of their brain called the frontal cortex earlier. So girls aren't smarter than boys, but they do get that act together a bit earlier than boys. And the education system really rewards that, as it should. But it means that to some extent girls...
Yes, because on average, girls, I mean, this is caused by like 700 different things. But on average, girls are told, hopefully, if at least they have decent parents, or if they're not told, they have eyes and they see the world around them, that hey, they will have to grind much harder than the boys, because society is not set up to allow them to walk into success. And I'm not saying society is set up to allow boys to walk into success, but they're much more naive because they're raised by men who, to a far greater extent, were allowed to walk into success in, earlier, if we could call it that, capitalism. So because girls expect tighter competition and because they expect everything to be much harder, they grind harder at an earlier age. While boys who were told, if you do absolutely everything right, everything is going to turn out well, get surprised that, holy shit, that's not how it works. While a lot of girls were always told, maybe you'll do everything right, but because you're a girl, society is not exactly set up for your success. So there's not as much disappointment and therefore not as much reactionary sentiment or radicalization both towards the left or the right, but also from the get-go, they've been pushing a bit harder. So in the teenage years, post-teenage years, up to 25, 26, probably the girls are grinding harder exactly for this reason, because they feel like they need to get out of a hole, while boys are told, dude, you're walking on clouds.
Girls are at a bit of a natural advantage, especially in adolescence.
So what happens when these men leave school, when they enter the economy?
Well, first of all, if they don't do as well in education, they will struggle to find employment and good employment. That is not true for their fathers. Their fathers may well have been able to just do okay in school and get a decent job, but those jobs for men have very significantly declined.
So, for example, here in England, house prices have skyrocketed, and young people's wages, even though wages are rising, it's much, much harder for young people to buy a house. And that's the case in many European capitals, that young people are unable to buy housing. Earlier this year, I was in Spain. A lot of Spanish young people and also Italians are on temporary contracts. It's young Italian men at 30 still living with their parents.
Is this a struggle?
Yeah, and when this struggle arises, one thing I want to really break into your brains is people think that reactionary sentiment, so I'm talking fascism, basically quasi-fascism and fascism, that it only evolves around ethnicity. The minorities are bad, the Jews are bad, the blacks are bad, the Roma are bad, whatever the fuck you want. But this in-group, out-group blame game can be applied to fucking everybody, to the vaccinated and unvaccinated, to the talls and shorts, the only discrimination which we fully support here on YouGovNik Twitch, but it can be applied to everything. And now it's very easy to apply to women, and that's why it's going to be thrown that way. Even though it's, to me, very ironic that you can't afford a house yourself, and yet you want your woman to be the domestic caretaker. Well, my brother in Christ, maybe if she also had a job, you would have an easier time paying the mortgage. I don't know. Maybe just a thought? God.
Only in comparative terms. What I mean is, yes, they're doing worse than their fathers, but compared to women, they're still earning more.
That's a great question, and it depends. There it does vary by country. So the US is quite unusual in the fact that there's been this absolute drop in male earnings, right, for the bottom half, let's say, of the labor force. That's not true in other countries. In other countries, they've at least seen some wage gains. But in all countries, they've seen a significant shift in their relative position relative to women. Now, of course, that's the inevitable and positive consequence of more equality, right? If women are doing better, we want that gap to close. But it's easier for people to adjust to that world of greater relative equality if they're also feeling like they're doing absolutely better off. They're absolutely better.
So that's the whole problem with, again, lack of class consciousness. You see the life isn't going in a decent direction career-wise, so you can either improve yourself, or at least attempt to, and then fail or succeed. You can have class consciousness and understand the system is rigged against you and still try to succeed because nobody wants to be eating dirt all the time. Or the third category, you can be trying to elevate your career, but then you see an immigrant in the office starting at a better position or your own, or even getting promoted, or a woman, or whatever the fuck you want to pinpoint as the out group, and you blame it on this perceived change that you didn't think your dad had to deal with. So this must be what is causing my lack of economic prosperity, right? You can go any of these three ways. The first is what I don't know what philosopher it was, but the optimistic member of the death cult, meaning you understand capitalism is shit, but you want to be on the one that does the stepping, the one that's on top. So that's the grind set mentality, right? If only I try really, really hard. It's a naivety sparkled with optimism, and sure, sometimes it works if you're lucky enough. The second category is class consciousness. It's hopefully what everybody here has, which is the understanding that the way capitalism is set up, you as a worker are fucked over, but it doesn't mean you should embrace nihilism and lay on the floor. No, do whatever you can to put bread on your table or your family's table. And the third category, which sees their own personal failures as not extrapolations of a wider systematic problem, but of outgroups which are causing this particular problem. And the right is really managing to figure out the fact that women are a very easy group to point at, especially now in an era when they're getting more and more rights, as the cause, as this outgroup cause, which is leading to your problems, because they don't even only associate it with your economic disparity as a hardworking man, but also with the fact you don't have kids, the fact that you can't get a girlfriend, etc., etc. It's always blamed on the vagina haver, right?
We covered education, we covered the economic situation, but there's more to life than the economy. So how are men doing on other metrics? And you mentioned this study in your book that found men who commit suicide were likely to use words like useless and worthless to describe themselves, which really breaks your heart when you read it.
I think this is where a lot of the real tragedy lies. And so you're quite right that male suicide victims, and there are a lot. I mean, in the US, we lost 40,000 men last year to suicide, and 4 times as many men as women. And you're right that those the two words they most commonly use, the men who commit suicide use, are useless and worthless to describe themselves. And it that sense of
which is exactly the betrayal of the promise that they've been given since an early age, that if they do everything right, everything's going to turn out okay. And then it doesn't, and they're completely broken. And arguably the reason women on this particular topic kill themselves a bit less is because there was a much bigger chance that everybody around them constantly told them, no, actually very likely shit is not going to work out for you, okay? So there is not as much of a dream to be crushed there when from an early age you've been informed that, hey, there's injustice out there. And that again is correlated to our in-group and out-group mentality, talking about intersectional concepts, which are very important, but without the class aspect to that analysis, are liberal dog whistles.
Of not having a clear purpose, not having a clear sense of why you would be needed. I'm pretty sure that it's a human universal need to be needed. And I would say that for a lot of men right now, it's not clear to them that they are needed. Do their kids need them? Does their wife or girlfriend need them? Does the labor market need them? Who needs them? Are they needed? Are they necessary?
Great questions to pose, right? Unless you redirect the fact that they feel like they're not needed, comes from minorities or women, or the general questioning of gender relations in a particular country. Again, it always comes down to the exploitation topic and who you blame for the exploitation topic. You can, no matter how much Ben Shapiro is like facts over feelings, you can go down the feelings route and shoot up a school filled with girls, or you can actually look at this inhuman amalgamation of a market which is taking more and more of what you are promised and regurgitating it into an alienated pathetic existence.
This leads me nicely to another explanation I have often found. And by the way, these are not mutually exclusive. In fact, they're all interconnected. But in any case, it has more to do with cultural reasons. The idea that while patriarchy has pressed women down, it has also propped men up. And now that the system is changing, women are finally rising, but men are kind of falling.
When people ask me these questions about the anxiety and the crisis of masculinity, masculinity.
Men aren't falling. Just another argument is being introduced by those who want to manipulate you into why men feel like they're falling.
Masculinity is always in crisis. We are all,
and on top of that, we're all falling, and the promises of the 80s and 70s of Western capitalism are also falling. So it's easy to make the wrong associations, especially when you have hundreds of millions of dollars in your coffers to do right-wing PR propaganda.
Always fearful that we are not as manly and masculine as our fathers and grandfathers. Both of my grandfathers were manual laborers in mining. They could diagnose and fix cars with their bare hands.
Thank you very much, Formal Object, for the sub. 3-month sub. Thank you kindly.
I don't have those abilities. I can't possibly live up to whatever standard they embody.
So feminine of you.
It's incredibly feminine of me. Yes, I work in a college and I talk for a living. But I think that...
Hey, are you hitting on my toxic masculinity there, sir? I also talk for a living, motherfucker. Thank you, QRFG, for the sub. There you go.
A new child soldier.
Many supporters of those who talk for a living. Feminized Yugopnik talks for a living. I'm Yugofam. Call me Yugofam from now on. Very proudly. Fuck yeah.
That historical context can provide some...
Have you seen these curves? Man, I'm femme as fuck.
Some comfort that, actually...
You know what else is... take the red pill, which is accepting your femme pill, or take the blue pill, which is watching ads that are going to play in exactly 1 minute and 30 seconds. If you would like to support what we do here without having to watch ads while getting many, many privileges for $5 or for free through Prime, do consider becoming a sub. Thank you very kindly.
What we're experiencing right now is totally normal.
I take your point that everybody always worries about a crisis of masculinity, but at the same time, there's obviously been something extraordinary that perhaps we have never seen in history with the Me Too movement and the feminist movement since the 70s. So I take your point, the masculinity is always in a crisis, but maybe sometimes there is a crisis.
I mean, fair enough. Certainly we've never seen this level of gender equality. The way that I like to discuss this then is don't look at it in terms of what you've lost. Look at it as an opportunity. Look at what you stand to gain. So sure, men are no longer the default breadwinner. That means that we can be something else, that there's room there to have discussions with our partners, with our families, to explore the possibility of working part-time, of being a stay-at-home father. These are opportunities that being the default breadwinner denied men.
I think that within this framework, you can add the backlash explanation. So the idea that we're seeing a pushback against women's rights.
Okay, so I think there are two elements. So first of all, if we look at education, women tend to be more educated than men. But I don't think that in itself is causing the problem. The backlash is when men feeling like they're economically struggling compared to other men. So men care about their status relative to other men. So if a man is, in inverted commas, a loser. So if he's unable to get a house, a nice job, a nice car, and keep up with other men, then he may feel that sense of...
Yes, beautiful point. And again, to regurgitate to an extent what we've said previously, men from birth are told that their success, their position, ever since pretty much the 20s and the 30s, since the invention of the so-called nuclear family, is how well you can take care of the family, which is de facto told, presented to you as how much you earn, how much bank you bring, what your what it says on your title card at your job, how nice your car is, how nice your house is, etc., etc. So men de facto immediately create these fictional identities around what they want to become, and the older they get, the more they realize they cannot become that, because it is the chances of becoming that, no matter how hard you try, are lowering and lowering and lowering. So it crushes what they think their life at that stage, at that age or whatever, was supposed to achieve, and de facto leads them into a darker and darker path, versus women who were told for the same period, we're talking since the 1910s and 1920s, again, the nuclear family, that their needs and wants need to be a lot more modest, and that they can rely on the man to actually take care of them, etc., etc. So maybe also that's where the dichotomy comes in.
Strife. And one of the biggest blowbacks to inability to achieve status or relative status among men, it's not just that you can't afford it, you can't have the lifestyle that you feel entitled to, but that you may become unattractive towards women. So men who think that their fathers were in a better position to them now, and then they're told, oh, that more men are remaining single, is that sense of being snubbed on the dating market, that sense of being unwanted by men, that hurts men's egos. So I don't think it's about all men.
But also, let's criticize women a little bit. A lot of women have this internalized as well. The notion that a man's value is defined by how many zeros they have in the bank account, right? So women are told that's how you're supposed to value men, and men are not capable of, are less and less capable through the decades to achieve multiple zeros inside of their bank account, if even $500 on their bank account, which leads to, again, women just saying, like some women which do not have, which have kind of internalized patriarchy, to say, yo, all men are getting sissified, they're becoming weak, and they can't actually provide for the family, so why the fuck do I even need a man, quote unquote, etc., etc. It's an enchanted loop of reactionary mentality that, also can come from an immigrant, also can come from a woman, also can come from a trans person, can come from absolutely fucking everybody. It's a snake eating its own ass. The first mention of the day.
Because some men, in Munich and Berlin, they're on a lot, they're earning a lot of money. There's still a gender pay gap where men typically earn more than women, right? So some men are doing fantastically well, right? But some men are struggling. And also,
if I can jump on that, it's the idea of intersectionality. That one shouldn't look at this only through the lens of gender. It's impossible to understand this divide without looking at socioeconomic factors. Rich men are fine. It's really...
Oh, there we go. There we go. There we go. You know what he's channeling? He's channeling this guy. He's channeling this guy right now. He's channeling him real hard. Channeling him real hard. I can see the red eyes, like fucking dark Brandon, dark Deutsche Welle slowly rising. Oh wait, dark Deutsche Welle, that is different context. Oh god, dark Deutschland, anything is very, very well.
Working class men who are struggling.
Class and race are both very important. So the gender gaps in the US are much bigger in education and employment for working class men. But in the US, in particular, there's also an issue for black men, especially. The gender gaps between black boys and black girls, black men and black women are roughly twice the gender gaps for other racial groups. And so it's incredibly important to look at these things through that lens, as you just said, like looking at it intersectionally. It's a horrible word, but it's a useful idea. One of the big moves...
Help me, what is horrible about the word intersectional? That's the first time I'm hearing this take. Why is the word intersectional horrible?
Particularly on the center-left side of the political spectrum, has been to move away from focusing on individual responsibility to structural disadvantages. And I think that, of course, both are important. But if we look at like why, for example, in the pandemic, why were Black Americans so much more exposed? We didn't say, well, it's because we didn't typically think it's because Black Americans weren't wearing masks or they weren't doing anything. We thought, no, it's because of poverty, it's because of neighborhoods, it's because Black Americans are more involved in frontline work. And similarly, I think that the women's movement actually moved beyond an individualizing approach, which was more about the shoulder pads right? And the voice training and more about, no, it's about childcare. It's about the structure of careers. It's about the way employers think about family life, right? It's structural. There are structural barriers to women's inequality. When in just the same
Systematic, as we call them here.
way in education now, if boys are struggling in education, which they are, they're really struggling in the classroom, we should do the same thing and say, what is it about the structure of education that might not be working very well for boys?
So if I understand correctly, more educated men are also more likely to support feminism.
Yes, absolutely. So young, educated men who are rich, they're doing fantastically well, right? They're doing fantastically well, and when you're doing fantastically well,
nobody's doing fantastically well, my beautiful sister. Nobody is, but I get what she's trying to say. Let's not interrupt.
you're less
Pozanabi up in here, baby.
likely to have that zero-sum mentality, right? You're doing well, yes, we can all thrive. So, educated, rich, successful men, yes, absolutely. Because they've already achieved status. They have achieved status, so women's gains are not a threat to them.
But the irony here is that the men who have the most traditional views about the roles of men, like the men should be the breadwinner, the provider, are men from poorer communities who are the least likely to be able to fulfill that role.
Yes, because the more access to information you have, which, let's face it, education is information, the kind of wider the idea of who you are becomes. Or more importantly, wider the idea of who you can wish to becomes. A lot of come. Today we talk about a lot of come. Okay, so obviously, when you don't have only one identity to concentrate on when it comes to your dreams and wishes, is going to create a subgroup in a particular society, which is not obsessed with the most unrealistic one nowadays, which is being the breadwinner and being the economically most successful guy, the guy that ironically did lift himself up by his thong straps. Thank you, Victuta, for the sub for 6 months. That is absolutely beautiful. Thank you very kindly. Welcome to the community.
So there's a real tragedy there, which is that actually kind of upper middle class men who are super feminist, much more likely to be feminists, and don't have this view that men should be providers, they are providers, and they can be providers, right? But
It's a lot easier to say that when you don't have to do it.
Exactly. It's just, so basically, I'm like, equality is much easier for the affluent and well-educated.
And thank you, Manon Hassan, for the 3-month sub. Thank you very, very, very kindly. Here there are many, like, potentially problematic misinterpretations, okay? Very wealthy people don't concentrate on these particular divides because they're the ones, we're talking very, very wealthy, financing those divides in order for us to be infighting instead of concentrating on the real issues that plague us. But if we're talking about what, you Yanks constantly fucking call the middle class, etc., then yeah, sure, the more milquetoast and easier life is, the lower chances are that you're going to go into any kind of radicalization, but because you're okay with the status quo and you're just fucking chilling. But when it comes to the gender conversation, even there, when you're just doing okay economically, but your wife does something that your dad told you women don't get to do, and you immediately go down the sexist path. That's when we stop talking about class and start talking about patriarchy, etc. So yeah, those are not mutually exclusive, but sure, the chances are bigger.
I think it's really important that we think about patriarchy as status beliefs, that, a patriarchal society is one where people think that men are high status. They are knowledgeable authorities deserving of deference. So even if a man is unemployed or has a pretty crappy house, he may still feel a sense of dominance over women. He may still be upset if a woman...
Yeah, I might be poor, but at least I'm white, for example. I might be poor, but at least I'm not a vagina haver, right?
Says no.
Classic shit. Please don't clip that out of context, you sons of bitches. I can already see it.
No to his advances if she spurns him. So that creates an intense sense of struggle and competition.
Yeah, and for a lot of them, exactly, Toby. I may be poor, but at least I'm the boss of my wife. And for a lot of them back in the day, that was the coping mechanism, right? You get to go and beat the shit out of a minority. You get to slap around your wife. You get to be a horrendous piece of shit to your children. You know, they had a vent. And now they're pissed off that they don't have that vent anymore.
The feeling that life is hard for them, but that sense of economic resentment is associated with what a Professor Stephanie Stancheva and others called zero-sum mentalities. The idea that there is a fixed basket of goods and gains for you come at my expense.
Well, I think that the danger of zero-sum thinking is present. It's real. You see it in survey evidence, and it's true. But it's true on both sides, right? I mean, it's most obviously true in the way you've just seen it, which is men saying, "Oh, well, men are suffering because women are rising." But it's also true when I try to persuade policymakers to do more stuff about boys and men. They'll say, "No, it's women and girls who need help." I'm like, no, they both need help. A friend of mine, Dana Bowen Matthew of Brookings, she said, equality always feels like a loss to the people who are previously unfairly ahead. And that's true. It's back to your point about relative status earlier, right? If it used to be the case that just being male just gave you this unfair advantage, then the removal of that is going to create some dislocation, right? And to the extent...
I wonder if there was like this one degenerate alcoholic and his billionaire friend from a couple of 100 years ago that were like saying something about how capitalist alienation and all this weird political stuff this man is talking about will influence interpersonal relationships. But I don't know. I heard about some guy. He looks like Santa Claus apparently, but sounds too complicated for me, okay? Apparently he has multiple tomes of a book that just talks about the different materials you use to make clothing, okay?
Great sentence. Equality feels like a loss to the people who were unfairly ahead.
Right.
That's a great sentence.
I mean, it is, isn't it? And it's like, well, and
Love
so the
that
question
sentence.
then is, like,
Like,
do we just
glued to
roll
that
our
sentence.
eyes and say, get over it, right? In a space of a generation, like, what's wrong with you? And anybody that's struggling with this transition is by default just a misogynist, reactionary, right? Or do we say, look, that's a tough change. No question, we've lost some kind of automatic status. That's a good thing for society, but we should be honest about the fact that that is quite a difficult change for people. And then we throw in terms like toxic masculinity, which sort of blames them for their own plight. Then I just think we're going to lose men if we keep framing it this way. And we're doing a much better job right now of calling men out rather than calling them in. There are just a few too many ways.
You can do both, my friend, but okay, under his context and based on everything he said previously, he's coming from a very good place. At least I think so. So yeah.
Wagging fingers and not quite enough helping hands.
Yeah. There's a different thing between wagging of your finger at my boss, Jeff Bezos, and a very different one wagging your finger at Bob from Wisconsin, who's fixing fucking trucks for a living, okay?
What do you think of the term toxic masculinity?
You know, I talk a lot about toxic masculinity, and I discuss it in terms of getting people to think of toxic.
Jesus, did you really immediately do this, you fucking psychopath? Maybe poor, but at least I'm the boss of my wife. And for a lot of them back in the day, that was the coping mechanism. Okay, you didn't clip it out of context. I love you. Kisses.
Not as a value judgment, but rather of toxicity as rigidity and intolerance to difference. It's what makes masculinity toxic. For that matter, I would argue what makes femininity toxic is prescribing just one way, one role to operate in the world, to move through life, and to behave in your interpersonal relationships, and then to demonize exceptions to that rule.
To make the conversation a bit more complicated, the very definition of masculinity, since the invention of the nuclear family, has been defined through the feminine. The relationship between a man, masculinity has been defined in the way a man can relate to the woman. So he needs to be the breadwinner, he needs to be the physical protector, he needs to be the provider, he needs to be both there, spend time with them, but also spend time in the office. He needs to be a respectable figure in the community, etc., because that is how he will either get or keep a woman. Now, as we're developing progressively, hopefully in this regard, and the woman no longer necessarily needs the man for any of those previously mentioned aspects of life, right? The very definition of this sort of masculinity is being not only put into question, but completely rejected. Because when the woman says, I don't need a man, I don't need no man, okay? Men who ironically really pride themselves in their masculinity end up without the very thing that allowed them to feel like men. The female gaze and etc. So the solution to this, my brother in Christ, is actually redefine what you see as your masculinity, and no longer ironically link it to the woman, link it to what you do in life, link it to your finding of purpose, link it to your bravery. There's nothing to do with the female gaze or how women interact with you. And plot twist, as somebody in a very long and successful relationship, okay, it works. And you will end up with a lot of the positive female gaze and actually have a pretty fucking decent family life, if we can call it that, okay?
Now, I don't always use the word.
Speaking of good family life, an ad is about to play. If you would like to support the show, not have to watch that ad and get plenty of other bonuses, please do consider subbing. Don't be we are only sexist against women in ads, so don't watch them.
Toxic masculinity, despite liking it for that reason, because it has become toxic itself. If you use the word toxic in a conversation about gender, you can be pretty certain that a large proportion of the people that you're speaking to will just shut off. You've now signaled what your politics are. You've perhaps signaled that you are their enemy. And the conversation may be over right there.
So over the past 30, 40 years, media has become increasingly negative. We're also spending more time on our phones, and that means we can self-select into certain echo chambers.
We just don't share a consensus culture anymore. You know, there are no TV shows that I can mention in a classroom that more than a quarter of my students have seen. I taught a popular culture class, so a class that you would assume is filled with people who are interested in music and film and television. And we had a running joke, which was that I was going to buy everyone pizza if we could find one movie that half of them had seen. And so it got to the point halfway through the year, we still hadn't found that movie.
And then social media corporations keen to keep me will then feed me more content that pleases my pride. So they send me more stuff, more polarizing content. And so because I'm in this now social media filter bubble, I hear people who agree with me. And I come to feel, oh yes, that's right, you know, because I don't see those views being challenged or criticized. So it's because of the economic resentment, because of the zero-sum mentalities, because of the technological shifts, then cultural entrepreneurs like Mensen in Poland or Andrew Tate in England or Vox in Spain can then make political capital or cultural capital or a lot of money, right, by harnessing and building on those ideas.
What do you think of Andrew Tate?
If you were to ask me who is the most dangerous single person alive. We could, of course, go through lists of political leaders, obviously people who are conducting wars. Andrew Tate, though, is definitely in the conversation, I think, for the most dangerous person alive. Just to see the incredible influence, the number.
That is why we must continue saluting our Romanian brothers and sisters, which have put it on themselves to stop the most dangerous person alive from spreading dangerous, bigoted propaganda to the easily manipulated youth of the degenerate West.
Of teenage boys who don't just listen to him, but idolize him, who feel that he is not just important, but profound in some way. And that, he speaks truth.
So profound. You ain't getting any pussy. It's because of the pussy havers, eh? I'm building armies. Oof.
Truth.
Isn't that funny? Like, we're getting dumber and dumber. So the right-wing propaganda is getting dumber and dumber and less complicated. It used to be, dude, you are actually a direct descendant with pure Nordic blood of the ancient Aryan kingdom, and it is on you as a birthright to spread your seed to the far corners of Europe and conquer and destroy all the disgusting mixed races of the Jew, the Slav, the Roma, and the evil communist. That is how we shall build our new Reich. And nowadays, just like, man, you really do not be getting pussy, and that's because women. Fascists used to be cooler, dude. At least it used to be this crazy D&D universe, right? Now it's just women. Fucking
that he villainizes, he vilifies women and feminism, and he mocks empathy, kindness. The way that he is socializing these boys. I am terrified to see, what will our world look like in 10, 15 years.
No more cosmic wars, just vagina, please. Yeah, exactly, Mr. Soder.
If we can't deprogram.
Oh! Yes, I am from 1999. I just dabbed.
The teenage boys who look up to him.
I see people like Andrew Tate as largely the symptom rather than the cause. You have to risk saying that there are some aspects of what Andrew Tate says which you can understand why young men would be attracted to it. It's just that he then leads you into a place that is much darker. But the second thing, I'm much more interested in less in what Andrew Tate and others are.
He is absolutely a system and not the cause. He's just yet another talking head of the newly emerging reactionary sentiment, which is obviously produced by a shift in gender identity and gender norms, fueled by, people like Tate are fueled by further and further alienation of the working classes and the lumpens of our world. Oh my God.
Are supplying, and more that they are finding a market.
Thank you, DOG EcoWaves, for the gifted sub. Thank you very kindly. Thank you, EcoWaves.
They're finding a market is because there are a lot of questions that young men are struggling, boys and men are struggling with now, as we've just discussed. And so they're looking for someone who's addressing those questions and providing answers. Well, who do they find? They find the reactionaries. And why do they find them? Because there's nobody else there, except perhaps some feminists telling them, well, stop being so toxic and, be better allies. For me, it's an unbelievable failure, on cultural failure on our part to have created a world where that demand is going to those figures, to that supply.
Yeah, I think that it is certainly true.
Yes, but that supply of reactionary sentiment is always going to go in a certain direction. And now, because they've fully used their ammunition on the kind of ethnic question, and because it's grown into such a taboo to be even brought up on the West, in the West at least, the next target is the new cultural switch, which is gender norms that are going to be pointed out. The reactionary will always find something to kind of run around with, and eventually, this females conversation is going to die out, hopefully, because it's fucking imbecilic, and people will realize that just like racism, it makes absolutely no fucking sense. But then they'll find a new thing. This is not only a failure, sure, of the modern left of not getting men on their side. Okay, let's agree on that. But in general, this is just a tumoric outgrowth of living in a system that is de facto inhumane, and therefore will lead to people searching for solutions on how to make their life better and the life of their communities. And very often they will not find it in the real fucking answer to the question, which is the system itself being problematic. And thank you very much, Harry Feeble, for the sub. Welcome, my beautiful. Thank you, EcoWays, for another gifted sub. And thank you, Yay 101. Welcome, baby.
That Andrew Tate offers men who are looking for a male role model, somebody to look up to. And he doesn't exclusively talk about women. That's not even the majority of what he offers. That's absolutely true. What I do see, though, is that his self-help is a bit of, it's a gateway drug, which is why I would hesitate to say, well, he does this one thing well. There's nobody who is there just to learn how to be an accountant. Apparently his accounting course, I've read, is actually quite good. But I do think that we do have a problem with strong male role models.
So I'll give you one example. Someone who is a big follower of Andrew Tate, and I'm talking to him on the phone, and he said they don't care about male suicide. And I said, who's they? And I'm sure they do. He said, the government, they don't care about male suicide. I said, okay, what's your evidence they don't care? He sends me to the government website on suicide disparities and asks me the question, where do they mention the gender gap, the biggest gap of all, which is between men and women? There's no mention. There's a page for LGBTQ, there's a page for rural urban, there's a page for veterans. It's all good stuff, right? But there is no mention of the fact that being male puts you at a 4 times higher risk of suicide, or that male suicides are rising, especially among young men. And I'm thinking, no wonder Andrew Tate and his others can pick up followers, because when they say that the government and other institutions aren't paying enough attention to their issues, they're right. And so what we have to do is make them wrong.
But the meme
have to be able to say,
is that when addressing the other groups and their their levels of suicide, they're only LARPing support. They're only like aesthetically there for the woman, aesthetically there for the veteran, aesthetically there for the I don't know, other type of minority, etc., etc. But down on the ground, they're not there for fucking anybody, except those who line their pockets.
Talking about the government and the media are covering this stuff all the time. But I got to tell you right now,
it has 12,000 dislikes. What the fuck, Eres Rombe? It has 12,000 dislikes? Are you fucking serious? Damn, son.
That's not true.
Hilarious. Like, this video is so incredibly mild and so pro-male. Like, seriously. But this is like such a, like, they don't shit on men literally for a second. For a second, they don't. Yeah, comments are mostly positive. Okay, interesting.
I think the solution could be to bridge this divide.
Well, you have to end with the hardest question, right? Women can't just live in their echo chamber. It has become toxic itself.
What the fuck did I click?
What do you think the solution could be to bridge this divide?
Well, you have to end with the hardest question, right? Women can't just live in their echo chamber. They can't just live in their bubble, because they may have that online, but when they start moving through the real world, they butt up against patriarchy.
If you filter by new, okay, let's see new. Women want all the advantages with feminism, but none of the disadvantages. Instead of equaling the playing field, they are fairly balancing it in their favor. There was a feminist who actually went undercover as a man to see how much better being a man is. Ho ho ho. Young men, the solution is simple. Do not join your nation's armed forces. Choose prison time over service. Thank you for sharing an intelligent and fact-driven. Okay, it is the way they are raised. Men are being radicalized, but women are not. Lol. Letting women vote was a mistake. Yeah, the same guy posting both of these things. What exactly is wrong with what Andrew Tate said? Yeah, fucking no pussy havers talking about pussy. My fucking classic.
Patriarchy. They butt up against sexism and misogyny. They can't avoid it. Men, on the other hand, because we live in a patriarchy, they're much more insulated in that way. And so part of the solution has to be men showing an increasing willingness to enter spaces that they are uncomfortable with. As men, we are often so used to moving through the world with a certain level of safety. You have a discussion with any group of women, and you will hear about how anytime they're in public, they are thinking about their physical safety. So younger men just don't.
Yeah, but that was told to them from the get-go that it is normal, and therefore they shouldn't complain about it. But we were taught from a young age that it is normal for a woman to give puss if we are nice and buy chocolate ice cream. Ha ha.
Have that same experience. We feel entitled to feeling comfortable and safe. So how do we bridge the divide? Listening to new voices, entering new spaces to hear the conversations that people who are not like us are having.
I have to say I feel a bit cynical about this. Because as a teenager, you just don't have the mindset for this. Maybe when you're like 18, 20, 25, but as a teenager, your whole preoccupation is to fit within a group, isn't it? I feel like sometimes we forget that.
Yes, and nowadays, because kids have access to the internet, they're getting so-called politicized at a much earlier age, versus back in the day when your political ideology was only defined by your dad and what he told you. So you, the second you step out of that household, you not only want to question it because fuck you, dad. Nobody wants to listen to what their dad's opinion is, but also because you get to interact with other people, etc., for the first time at a much larger rate when you yourself become an adult. Well, nowadays, we're bombarded by opinions since we're 14, 15 by random strangers over in Romania, and that obviously radicalizes us much quicker. But I am very hopeful that once they do go and touch some grass, these teenagers grow out of this sort of mentality. That's why, like, Andrew Tate's audience is like 85% kids, because, well, they're kids, they're fucking stupid as shit, right? But afterwards, they talk to a girl, they talk to a black person, they, they actually build relationships with people and understand that it's a bit more complicated, so that when somebody comes and tells them that their problems lie inside of this out-group, they question it because they know people from that out-group. Hell, they might even live with people from that out-group, and they re-diagnose the previous arguments that were given to them on why everything sucks. And maybe eventually, at some point, they actually look at systematic issues. That's at least what happened with me, okay?
They're still very young.
But you know what another systematic issue is? Twitch and ads. If you would like to not watch the one that is going to play in exactly 30 seconds, do consider becoming a sub. Thank you kindly.
Like, you can expect men to change, but boys, maybe that's expecting too much. Perhaps we should expect the system to change. And I don't know how, but perhaps phrases like, boys don't cry, can't you study like your sister, maybe even toxic masculinity, they can make it sound, for someone still very young, like these issues are their fault.
Mm-hmm. I think you're actually pointing toward one specific solution. We talk to their parents, because it really is, it's not just teaching the children, but talking to the parents and talking to them about how they may be
EcoWaves, you are about to
problem.
get another ban from doing donations. Thank you very kindly for the 5 gifted subs. EcoWaves, the Nepo baby of Twitch chat, you got Nick. Thank you very kindly. Saved 5 souls from the good old, bad old ad experience.
Not consciously,
Say thank you, EcoWaves. Say thank you, EcoWaves. Okay.
not intentionally, by saying things like, toughen up, boys don't cry. So if we can work on educating, not directly the children, but instead talking to their parents and saying, look, here are ways that you can concretely impact the gender ideology that your children develop in ways then that may, I would use the word inoculate or
My bro is saying raise your kids better. Okay, that's what my bro is saying. Problem is that a lot of parents are also brainwashed by these ideas. And systematic change is the only way to actually properly address this.
Vaccinate them against some of these ideas. Because frankly, it's never too early to start teaching feminism to children.
We need to work very hard to persuade fathers that they matter as fathers, even if they're not providers in the traditional sense. And so that means when we have paid leave policies, they must be equal for fathers and mothers, and they must be independently available to fathers. And we need workplaces that are father friendly. We have to have a massive recruitment drive of men into teaching.
Yeah, Mr. Soda, we're about to have a whole generation of Western men that have grown up on the Gamergate era, the anti-SJW era. Oh, this is gonna be fun. Oh wait, you know what the plot twist is? The anti-SJW Gamergate era dudes, you know what they don't do? They don't get into relationships. So they don't get to become dads. It's like a snake consuming itself, not just licking its ass. I'm doing the exact toxic thing that the guys in the video said you shouldn't do and make fun of them, but no, fucking suck my you-know-what, you fucking... thank you very much, Systems Tours, for the gifted sub. Thank you kindly.
Into the healthcare professions where there are fewer and fewer men. We need more technical training, apprenticeships, technical high schools, which are good for boys especially. The other thing that we should, I think, seriously consider as policymakers is starting boys in school a year later, just because they're, as we discussed, they do mature a little bit later, and in adolescence especially that really counts. And then lastly, as kind of parents and journalists and think tankers and policymakers and community leaders, is let's take this issue away from the culture warriors.
Think tankers. Here we're only tankists.
Away from the people who want to weaponize this or exploit this or profit from this in one way or another, and just straightforwardly and compassionately say there are a whole bunch of issues that we need to pay more attention to now with boys and men, and make those boys and men feel seen and heard and loved and acknowledged without in any way doing any less for women and girls.
Clearly, if one of the major underlying economic drivers is stagnant regions, then it's really important to...
Thank you, Empire in Focus, for the $20.
Hoping you're doing well, Hugo.
I am. Now I am. When I started this, I felt like shit. But now, thanks to beautiful, beautiful chat, I am feeling better and better. Speaking of beautiful, beautiful chat, hey, you listeners over on YouTube, come join us on Twitch. Become my favorite child. and encourage the actual platform where in the future I will exclusively be streaming at. I'm trying to move as much of my audience from YouTube over to Twitch, and I believe I have very much so succeeded in motivating quite a few of you over. So please do consider coming over. Thank you kindly. The link is in the description.
To boost economic growth.
This is an apartheid system where YouTubers are second-class citizens, but you are allowed to get a majority passport by migrating right now.
To make sure there's continued job creation, to improve perceptions of mobility. Two, I think the EU can think creatively about.
Thank you, Filibuster. Filibuster, yeah. That's a great rapper name, by the way, for the gifted sub. Thank you.
Regulating algorithms. I mean, we regulate so many other parts of our society, but the digital world. I mean, I think the EU's previous agreement was to assess the risk of different kinds of technologies, but we haven't looked at regulating these algorithms that create such a distorted view. Like, you know, most of us are so normal. Most of us are so moderate.
And boring.
Yeah. Most of us are really boring. I think one thing to appreciate is that this polarization between young men and women is partly a function of cultural liberalization. So in December, I was in Uzbekistan for a month. Before that, I was in India for 2 months, Morocco, Turkey. In many of these places, there's so much social policing that men and women cannot think differently. You know, women are socialized for marriage, and then you have to stay put because divorces are humiliating failure. So on the one hand, people should not see this polarization as a total catastrophe because in part it reflects growing freedoms and growing gender equality.
Yeah, what we talked about previously. With growing freedoms, obviously good thing. Hey, look at me. Growing freedoms, good thing. But also growing freedoms, more ammunition for reactionaries to point at those freedoms and say that is actually what is causing your problems.
That said, I think that my comparative research around the world shows that there are these very common structural drivers. This isn't a story just about one country. It's a story about economic stagnation, corporate algorithms, and also these cultural entrepreneurs. Those are the three things that have the same effects in all rich, culturally liberal countries.
Find me an academic that is going to say the word capitalism in a negative context, and I will buy you a brand new X5 BMW. Like, Jesus Christ. I like them. Nice, friendly libs here. God bless. But God, please just... Please.
Thank you so much for this great conversation. It's been a pleasure to talk with you about this.
This was lovely. Thank you very much, AliExpress JT from Second Thought.
It's very difficult, but also very important and fascinating topic.
Thank you.
All right. That was fun. Take care.
Bye.
#ad. Dude, my friend was showing me.
Okay, so this I trained my Twitch chat to love ads. Okay, so everybody here complains about ads all the time. Okay, ads all the time. So I saw this called I trained my Twitch chat to love ads. I will never do this, but I will force you into loving subs. Okay, do not watch ads. I'm pretty sure this is like against the OS for me to be saying do not watch ads. I don't mean that direct. I mean, you get my point. I want to encourage you to give as less money as possible to the industry from which I have escaped from and yet cannot escape from because, again, I feed myself through ads apparently. So I saw this video and I'm like, okay, we have to watch it. I trained my Twitch chat to love ads. I have no idea what this video is going to be about. Guy called Doug. I don't know. Is he good? Do we fuck with Doug or we don't fuck with Doug? Let's see.
How much people...
I love when chat is my sub. That is a very specific context. Okay? Not in that way, okay?
Other people make off ads on Twitch. I could be making so much money if I actually played ads on Twitch. I could do the
Dude, I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. Like, maybe 3 to 5% of what I make during a stream are actual ads. But the majority is exactly from people like Lazy K up in here who just saved 10 immigrants from YouTube with 10 gifted subs. Thank you very much. Lazy K is their 45th sub donation. Say thank you to Lazy K. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Those of you from YouTube, if you had migrated, you would already now have a sub. God damn it. Okay, so let me learn from this expert with 500k subs on how to, I guess, force their community to watch ads. Let's fucking see
that I
this.
talked about, which is that I make a channel point reward where you guys can trigger ad breaks. Because that way it's not on me, right? Like, I feel bad running ads. I don't really want to do it. But if it's just chat constantly running ads.
I'll tell you a secret right now. The reason I'm like not completely blocking ads is obviously so that the Twitch algorithm likes me a bit more, but more importantly, it's like the easiest way. It's the easiest way for me to remind you to sub without it being extremely cringe, right? Because it's very cringe. I mean, it's even cringe when I remind you to sub while I'm doing the ad pitch. But with the ad pitch, it's kind of like not all the time. And it doesn't feel as LARPy and as like shill-y, even though it is. So that's why. That's my reason on why ads are played.
It's so fucking annoying. It's just literally going to be non-stop ads. Because if Twitch doesn't have a limit, it will literally be non-stop. You will not be able to watch the stream. Let's find out. Okay, if somebody redeems, it should now trigger the ad play. Hold on, we already got one. Did it work? It worked. Okay. This is fucked up. Okay, wait, another person played them. Is it playing at the same time? So what's going to happen?
Thank you, Master Spike, for the sub. So wait, they can, I don't get it. They can trigger an ad.
The ad play.
So he made like a system where it automatically triggers whenever somebody donates. Thank you, Master Spike.
Got one. Did it work? It worked. Okay. This is fucked up. Okay, wait, another person played them. Is it playing at the same time? So what's gonna happen? I didn't get an ad though. I'm sorry, Sapphire. Don't worry, we're probably gonna get you a lot of ads. If you want to participate in today's stream, you gotta turn off your ad blocker, dude. And if you're subscribed to the channel, I guess make a second account so that you could still get the ads. Like,
yeah, apparently some continents don't get any. I have African listeners here, African chatters, and they're like, dude, Africa-based, we get absolutely no ads. And they still become subs with respect.
Today's not a day for the sub.
I put respect on that shit. I put respect on that shit.
They get to miss out on all the fun. I'm sad I never got any.
Also, he made ads the Twitch reward. Okay.
Twitch have a cooldown? That'd be dumb. There's a cooldown so streamers don't spam ads. What? Oh, that's dumb. Okay, so I just scammed everybody. It's on a 15-minute cooldown? Dude, it's such a bummer that they don't let me do non-stop ads. There's a lot.
What? No, I have a button here. I can press the button right now. Okay, 60-second ad. Boom, I press it. Let's see if something plays. Oh, no, and now it gives me a warning. Ad break ends in... No, it started an ad. Oh, shit. I hope I don't exploit that. What the fuck? God dang it. Yeah, it says that it's playing
a lot of features on Twitch.
I'm sorry. Shit. Fuck.
That would be really, really, really awesome for like me specifically. We do need to make a quick announcement that the ads are coming. That's funny. We need like a song that introduces the ads. Okay, that's good. That's such a victory song that is not appropriate for ads. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for ads! Try to sound as passionate as possible. Why did you moan it? I mean, come on. Have you seen these ads for like Chips Ahoy or whatever? There's that one Chips Ahoy commercial that I've watched 8 billion times on Twitch where they're just dancing for no reason. And
we're fucking ad maxing, okay? There are two types of Twitch streamers, ad maxers or sub maxers. And I'm such a dom. I love all my subs. God, I felt horrible even saying that sentence, but it was in my brain, so it had to go out, okay? It had to go out. My brain works the same way as my anus. Things continuously going out, and sometimes in, but we don't talk about that one.
I hate Chips Ahoy now. Like, doesn't that one get you a little, creamy in the pants?
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for ads!
You guys just start watching ads. It's not ass.
It's time for ads!
Okay, it sounds a bit like it sounds a little bit. I generally am trying to keep the stream like not being a total fucking middle school boys sense of humor and not have
I am not the same, and I have no idea why any women watch me, but
everybody laugh at
Lord.
number 69 and every time something sounds like ass, but that one actually sounds pretty similar to ass. Yeah, even I will admit.
Lord Dugdo, master of the obsidian pillar, what is the purpose of our being?
Ads. You watch ads.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for ads!
You guys are so fucking toxic, I would not be able to give you this, okay? Just out of spite, you will play ads 24/7, okay? And then the same guys that are playing it out of spite are gonna do sub donos as well. Like my little snakes that like to eat themselves.
Okay,
Wait, we're watching an ad. Okay, so this is... Don't get confused. So this is an actual ad that played on the...
Man, the subs are really...
What the
I
fuck?
feel terrible. I'm subbed against my consent. Oh, so now if you like get really like upset at another viewer, you can gift them a sub, and that way they have to miss out on all the ads. Jesus, take the wheel. Okay, Zeptek just screwed over 10 people. Pretty rude, dude. Did you guys dodge it? Did anybody here dodge it? Okay, dodge.
And that is going to play in exactly 3 minutes. So if you want to really own me, by not letting people watch the ad, do consider doing what Zaptek did right here.
Please, for the love of God, don't give me a sub. You guys have to dodge like Neo from the Matrix. Don't let the sub hit you. You'll get no ads. Dodged again. A lot of people are dodging. There are more and more fallen soldiers, though. Jesus, take the wheel. Uh-oh, Kev Jumbo. Just gifted.
Jocula, I hate you. Oh my God, the 5 gifted subs. I hate you so much. So much hatred right now in my soul for Jocula. Ugh.
10. Who got him? That sucks, dude. 10 victims. No, please. God, we're like the stupidest. We're like the dumbest people.
I'd rather have 4,000 minutes.
No, that is my chat. Okay, that is me. The only people who are dumber than my chat are me. Okay.
Ads than watch this stream.
I'm doing good, okay? I'm a good streamer.
It sounds like you just busted an ad.
Jesus, take the wheel. Got Loki just sniped 10 different people. Like the idea of saying F to somebody who subs to the channel. Jesus, take the wheel. Convicted nerd, thank you for the 5 snipes. Pow, 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 pow. Enjoy your ad-free experience, suckers.
I don't know how many of you are dodging the fucking sub, because the ad is playing in 1 minute 30 seconds. You better fucking save yourselves. Thank you for System Tours for saving one person from ads, and thank you to the legendary Quatiba Subha for the 5 gifted subs. Oh my God, you guys are hurting me so much. Oh no, the pain. Oh no, the pain. I am in the pain. So much pain.
Somehow made us want
I hate it when you sub to me. Okay, now whoever in chat fucking said like the joke about you like your subs really fucked everything up in my brain now. Like all sub to, like saying that now makes me feel like a pervert. God fucking damn it.
Watch ads. He made us think it's our idea and he gave us the responsibility of playing them. He really is milking all of us.
And the worst, most egregious thing is that I then go resell the Twitch chat milk. I could make the ads like 5 minutes. I have it the shortest amount. So I am trying to do ethical Twitch chat milking here. I'm not trying to squeeze you for every drop of milk you're worth. Make it 5 minutes, you coward. No. Jesus, take the wheel. Sedair, sniping 5 different viewers with an ad-free experience.
The dug in the ads announcements sounds like they are getting milk 10 GL.
No, he's excited about the ads.
Hello, Douglas.
There you go. Everything is ideology. If you are convinced that the ad is actually a privilege you get to watch on Twitch, you start identifying the ad as a positive aspect of this experience, right? Of watching a Twitch stream. So there you go.
Can we please have 5 minutes?
Don't say you didn't get any theory while I'm watching this fucking video.
I think I speak for all non-subs when I say we would like that.
That's so...
The anti-ad culture is actually corporate hatred towards corporate class war, corporate culture class war against the Twitch streaming classes, okay? They've convinced you that ads are against your interests so that they can fuck with the breadwinning of struggling proletarian Twitch streamers. That's what it is. Lenin literally woke up one day and he's like, no, ads actually good, but Jeff Bezos told you they're bad so that you sub, okay? Thank you very much, Aim List, for the resub, and thank you, Kel Person, for the sub.
Put yourself in my shoes. What a streamer might normally do is be like, hey guys, do you want this thing that's probably annoying? But in this...
The funniest part about this whole thing is that you gave enough subs and literally Twitch just like postponed the ad by itself. Because when it sees that you're doing well and like people are paying attention to shit, it automatically snoozes the ad without you having to actually click. So now it's going to play in 3 minutes, 30 seconds, even though 5 minutes ago I said it's going to play in 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Isn't that wild? It's... And thank you, Lazy K, for doing more masochism and sadism for the 5 gifted sub. That's 50th gifted sub, Lazy K. At this point, I will have to give you mod rights because this is a Nepo stream, baby.
This community, if I say, hey guys, do you want 5 minutes of ads? Everybody will just say yes. So I have no way of actually gauging what people want because...
Thank you, Empire and Focus. Beautiful name for the sub.
Ladies...
Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
Wonderful, a new child soldier.
This is so meta. Like, there's ads playing on my thing, and the guy we're watching, there's ads playing on his thing, and we're talking about subs, and like you're fighting with his Twitch subs with the sub. This is so niche. Like, imagine like when I go like grab a beer tomorrow with my bud, with my goon bud, he's gonna be like, "Dude, what have you been up to yesterday?" And I'm like, "I was violently forcing my watchers into subbing so that they don't watch ads which they want to watch." You know how hard it is to tell people what I do for a living? God fucking damn it, this is making it even more difficult. Thank you, Autogon, for the gifted 2 subs. Thank you very kindly. Continues fucking, you know, making my life more complicated. It's almost like a real capitalist hell, Danger Aline. Exactly. You go feet when? You go feet at 1,500. I will literally take my sock off. Okay? I will take my sock off and I will show you my feet. Unironically. At 1.5k. I'll do like manicure. If you want me to, I will literally paint my nails on stream if we hit 1.5k. Okay? And thank you, Autogon, for another gifted sub.
How are they? How are they? I can see a lot of Craigasms in chat. It feels like people are enjoying them. Are they awesome? I'll change it to 1 minute for the next one. God, people are loving these ads.
In this world, chat, it's milk or be milked. Good luck.
By the way, the YouTube stream will end in exactly 15 minutes. Do migrate to Twitch. The YouTube stream will end in exactly 15 minutes, but we'll continue over on Twitch.
So true. So fucking true.
Hey, Doug. Thanks for the great milking as always. You somehow make it feel so good.
Thank you.
Have my milk.
I feel like you need to give more context to that sentence. You gotta be like, in the context of a Twitch stream where we are joking about milking viewers for ad money, you can have.
I guess you could.
Gotta give the context.
No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm not self-aware enough to do that. Okay, not self-aware to do that. I am not milking you. You are doing this for your own interest. Okay, because you want to watch ads. But you are constantly being hurt by either your own mental fortitude or other people who are donating you ads or subs, or if you're subbing. I love subbing to you. Like, oh, I subbed to you. Oh, like I should make that my sound for whenever there's a sub. Oh, I'm a sub. You got me sub. That's
soldier. I mean, subscriber.
Imagine that. So would you be up for the sound instead of welcome child soldier, which started with the first stream as a meme? If instead of that would be like, oh, I'm your sub. God. Thank you very much to my new subs. Coherent Contradiction, one of the best names on here. Thank you kindly. And thank you, C-Blob, for doing things that are against your own interest.
You could borrow if need. After can we make
wonderful, a new child soldier. I mean, subscriber.
C-Bloop for 3 months, by the way. Thank you very kindly.
That specifically.
Might and subscribe so I don't have to miss out on these ads.
Yeah, I'm gonna, like, all of these ads are going to make me lose subscribers. I don't think this is a net positive on my income. Nobody's gonna want to sub anymore.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for ads!
Congratulations, everybody. Ads are back.
I will give 10 for that. For what? The soundbite to be, oh. But what should it be? Oh, you sub. Oh, you got me sub.
Doug, what is the ass thing? What did I miss? No, hold on. No. Nobody say anything.
And funny enough, like we haven't had ads for the last 45 minutes because it keeps pushing them back because of all of the subs that are coming in.
What do you think is being said right now?
Ladies and gentlemen.
Oh yeah, I'm a filthy sub. I'm your filthy sub. That could be good. Hey, you got Mick. I'm your filthy sub. Filthy sub. Oh my god. Oh, Freudian fucking shit happening here.
It's time for ads.
As you can clearly hear, it's time for ads. Ads. You literally are saying ass. Listen to it again.
It's time for
ads.
Ads.
Okay, this was fun. Thank you to everybody that subscribed and tortured themselves. We're at the level 6 hype train, 1 minute remaining. We have never, by the way, reached level 8. Just saying. Not in any way trying to milk you. Not in any way trying to milk you. I am not a shill. Not in any way trying to milk you. But we're continuing the conversation we had previously, which at one point, one of the gentlemen analyzing the further divergence between women's politics and men's politics. They mentioned a toxic trait that is being sold to a lot of men in particular, but also a lot of women, and that is what is that? Yes, that is self-help. And I saw one of our favorite creators to watch on here, the only good French person on planet Earth, Alice Capel. Alternative self-help is brainwashing you. So let's sit down, strap in, and actually learn something after having screamed about subs and ads in an incredibly incoherent manner a little bit ago. So yes, let's go in. And to support this female creator from the get-go, I will play the video as I exit the room because I need to go and do something. I'll be right back. Okay. Thank you for the hype train level 6. Bravo. Good work.
As being one of the happiest years of my life. I had just got my scientific baccalaureate.
Did she get a croissant? No, she got a women now getting fucking bachelors. They had to write it in French. De baccalaureate général, General Motors.
The French high school diploma with high honors. I had got my driving license, my tennis instructor certification. I was winning tournaments. I was gaining a lot of followers on Instagram and was about to start a law degree. Everything was set for success. And yet I remember having that conversation with myself, sitting on a bench around where my dad lives, wondering what I really wanted to do with my life. Be successful according to societal standards of what success is, so have a good job, earn a good living, potentially build a family, and just continue to be a control freak for the rest of my life. Or go the other way, try to do what I really wanted to do, make time for hobbies, explore the world, build connections with people. And that resulted in me quitting law after one semester to catch up with another degree that better aligned with my vision of the life I want to live. A life that isn't defined by money, but by experiences. I'm very much aware I sound exactly like the alternative self-help gurus I'm going to talk about today, but that's precisely the point of this video. I think they hold a lot of truth, but that it's still necessary to unpack that genre to better understand where those people come from and what they truly support. My story is maybe your story as well. I think we've all thought at some point in our lives about ways we could escape determinism, the 9-to-5 jobs, and by extension all the societal expectations that weighed on our shoulders. And I, as a woman, have a few. And that's precisely alternative self.
They're big motherfuckers. Okay, what is she talking about? What it don't do. I hate this so much. Like, not my penis, but this. Why do they put this on pants? Just like, why? So you can tighten it? Why? Okay.
Capitalizes on. It's meant for people who aren't obsessed with hustle culture, with success, but on the other hand, who still believe in personal responsibility and in individual power.
I don't know why we call it alternative self-help, but okay, it's just self-help. But yeah.
Over one's life or one's pursuit of happiness. Our influencers of today are Matt Diavella. With 3.15 million subscribers, he focuses a lot on routines, minimalism, mental clarity.
I'm not gonna make fun of her accent. She's a comrade and she's lovely, but all I can say is this guy definitely doesn't focus on anything.
And good habits. And
Video
it's
is a bit
really
low.
funny.
Thank you.
Second on our list, we have Lana
Is
Blakely,
the audio better now?
a former corporate worker who studied finance and business with more than 600,000 subscribers, who's known for her slow living, loneliness content, storytelling, and interesting set of thumbnails. Finally, Nathaniel Drew with 1.36 million subscribers,
Too much now?
who focuses
God.
on mental clarity,
There's no satisfying you, chat.
traveling, routines, and overthinking. Having watched their videos
Thank
for
you,
a few years
Archangel.
now, I can tell you that there are recurring patterns that one do not find in traditional self-help. First, clarity, minimalism. They don't dress in a very simple way. Their home look very minimalistic. You won't find a fancy car or dinosaur head in the background. So it means that all our attention is directed to them, to their message.
By the way, a lot of people have been asking. This isn't a dinosaur head. It's just... It's like cyberpunk shit. I was thinking at one point maybe I should stream like this because I don't know, it's interesting. But if you think I'm dying of heat while wearing just my little cloth mask, okay? And if you think the little cloth mask is LARPy, look at this, okay? Imagine if I was wearing this. And imagine I could make it even LARPier. I could make it exceptionally LARPy like this. So it's like cyber communism or something. It's so stupid. I bought this off of Etsy. I don't know what I was thinking. I think I was drunk. No idea why I own this. What even is this? Why do I have this? It's like AliExpress Daft Punk or some shit. What is this move? What is this moving? I don't get any of it. Oh, Lord. But, you know, with this mask, I could do this without actually hurting myself. Last time I coughed, I was fucking bleeding. Or I can wear it like this. We still manage democracy. Slowly slides down. Yeah, I have cool shit. Interesting shit. That back there is like just Karl Marx. I don't know if you can see it. They're just Karl Marx. Simple. This I got. This is like 70 years old. A little Lenin. It's golden. Off of a random bazaar here in the city I live in. Brace from Tronon told me he has the same one. It's pretty nice. And the other shit is vodka and rakia. Yeah. The books are obviously I haven't read Marx and Lenin from them, but that's from my girlfriend's, God rest in peace, grandpa. All the Marx and Engels books and all the Lenin books and all the Tito books as well. From my own rest in peace, grandpa. This is so weird. Trying to get off the mask, I needed to use the 100% of my brain power to not take off the wrong mask. But yeah, this thing. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. There you go, chat. You can see yourself. Okay, let's get back to the conversation.
The story they want to share. Each one of them is also known for his or her ability to live in the moment. Lana has made several vlogs that feel like you're out of time, meaning that you're not...
Do I look like a more respectable tanky now?
saturated with sound effects and crazy edits. It's peaceful and slow. And what I love about those vlogs is that she forces you to adopt that slow living, slow pace as you're watching her going through her day. And honestly, it's a real focusing exercise. On the other hand, Nathaniel is known for his cultural and travel experiences. He really makes an effort to immerse himself into a culture and forces us to look at things with new eyes, to contemplate, reflect, and connect. Finally, Matt Diavella is the coffee man. He knows the art of making coffee, dedicates time to it. He's involved in the process from start to finish. In that sense, their approach of life is very much in opposition with traditional hustle culture.
Was it early today? I think we had like the hour switch in Europe. So maybe that's why I started earlier for some of you Yanks or something. But yeah, it switched. So maybe that's why.
First, because they decide to allocate a certain amount of time to relaxation activities. And second is because they have redefined what success
YouTube
is.
stream will be ending in exactly 3 minutes. YouTube, please do migrate to the apartheid state of Twitch. You're very welcome. You have 2 minutes and a half. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Oh, really? The first nuance I would like to bring to our discussion is the fact that those people have reached a certain point in their career where they don't need to go for that very clickbait type of content. So hustle culture content, toxic productivity. Actually, when you look to their first videos, you might find a bit more personal responsibility content, self-discipline, making money online. On the contrary, the success allowed them to operate a major shift in terms of lifestyle, from long hours to fewer hours.
Is it really
and more free
apartheid
time.
if they're welcome here and enjoy full rights? It's a weird blend. It's like citizenry apartheid. Imagine if like... you don't need to imagine if like immigrants, not full citizens, didn't have full rights, right? So right now YouTube are just immigrants, but they don't have passports yet. They don't have actual IDs. They are not again, citizens of the Twitch community. So when they receive them, they will have voting rights and many other rights, which translated to Twitch is, I don't know, emojis, and they will be able to see themselves on screen. There you go. That's what it is.
They recognize that that toxic productivity lifestyle leads to anxiety, to depression, to burnout. On the other hand, they better embrace vulnerability. They develop compassion towards themselves, but also towards others, and they learn to build networks that aren't only professional networks, but also community networks. And I find it very cool. These people are both the
Guys, are we community networks?
products and the detractors of self-help.
If you go to any large bookshop and you look at the self-help section, it seems that there are almost two kinds of books on offer. The first kind are the sort of Anthony Robbins kind, you know, how to become a billionaire by Friday and all that. And then the other kind are books telling you how to cope with low self-esteem. And I think the two genres are actually intimately related. You know, it's by the time it's Saturday and you haven't become a billionaire that, you know, that you'll be reaching out for something helping you to feel better about yourself. So.
What I find interesting here is the recognition that our economic system pushes us to believe that our worth is determined by our ability to work, to produce, to be efficient and quick. Okay, so you agree with me that that's not a controversial...
Obviously, this comes from the same reason. It's what the gentleman said. There's industries that are going to revolve around either the pessimistic non-class conscious individual or the optimistic one. The optimistic person that lacks class consciousness is who we call the grind set dude. The non-optimistic is the black pill dude, okay? And there's whole industries designed to cater to both of these categories. And it's very interesting that both of these categories will point at the other and call them absolute idiots for either being too depressed to do anything about their life or genuinely thinking that they can become a billionaire if they only grind hard enough and wake up at 3 a.m. after going to bed at 2 a.m., right? But it's very funny because both of those groups are orangutan idiots, right? Because they lack the core understanding of how the system works.
...stance anymore. But now that you've...
Also, YouTube, you're very welcome to click the link below and join us over on good old Twitch because the stream on YouTube is ending in 10. Those of you who will not join us, thank you very much for coming. But those of you who will, you're very welcome to the beautiful Twitch community. Find the link in the description below. Stream ends in 5, 4, 3, 2, Houston, we have not liftoff, the opposite.
Wonderful.
Bye-bye,
A
YouTube.
new child soldier, subscriber.
Okay, rest in peace, YouTube. Just give me 1 second. 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. Unlisted. There we go. Bye-bye, YouTube. And thank you, Venus Bloodflow, for the sub. Thank you very kindly.
Recognize it. What do you do about it? I guess there are two ways to come to terms with that. First, you decide to direct your energy outwards, meaning that you learn more about our economic system, you engage politically, you build communities, you forge a political consciousness. In the case of all YouTubers, for example, it could be that they recognize that what they do now, that they have reached a certain level of financial stability, so working shorter hours, having a lot of hobbies, being able to talk about mental health more openly, should actually be the norm. That being poor shouldn't equal to your life is going to be synonymous with survival. So that's one way to see it. Another way to come to terms with that reality, aka our economic system is self-destructive, is to direct your energy inwards to yourself.
And Calm Like a Tom is welcoming the whole, 10 people that actually came over from YouTube with 10 gifted subs. Thank you very kindly. It's probably all of them that actually came over. At this point, it's no longer feasible for me to stream on YouTube, I feel like. I'm just hurting my YouTube algorithm for the actual short documentaries that they make, and I'm not gaining anything from this. So yeah, very, very soon that I'm going to completely stop. But thank you very much, Calm Like a Tom. That is very kind of you. Everybody say thank you to Tom.
System. But if you want to do so, then you have to develop a certain set of skills.
Emotional education. We're very used to the idea that we need to get educated in certain sorts of skills. But the notion that we need to be educated in our emotional functioning is very peculiar.
The core feature of alternative self-help is emotional intelligence. And the pioneer of emotional intelligence on YouTube is the School of Life. At its core, emotional intelligence is about mastering your emotions in the workplace to become a better leader. But Alain de Botton and other alternative self-help gurus have extended it to all areas of life. They argue that emotional intelligence leads to kindness, empathy, an absence of judgment, and general compassion, and you can find that type of content on our YouTubers' channels. Little parenthesis here, or may I say, little flex. Actually, I've had the opportunity to talk with Alain de Botton, the leader of the School of Life, more than a year ago, because he had started an Instagram account separate from the School of Life, where he shared practical wisdom and daily quotes. And yeah, he was asking me, a random follower, about the future of the School of Life, and if I thought they should go back to their philosophical, historical type of content, or if they should continue with the psychoanalysis, psychology type of content, and I said both. It's a bit unfair because the account does not exist anymore, so I can't have a real proof except those little bits of conversations, but I promise it existed. There's still a website mentioning it, so trust me on this. I truly believe that the work the School of Life is doing is very beneficial for those people who are looking for that type of alternative self-help. They open discussions around mental health, depression.
No matter what you think about School of Life, and sure, they might be turning into this self-help thing. I watched this after having studied Marx in my first year of university and completely disregarding him because communist dogs, I don't care about this. This after a 12-hour shift in the United States as a work and travel kid, working fucking 14 hours, really clicked with me. It was really good. Really clicked with me. Now probably if I watch it I will die of cringe, right? But then incredible introduction, phenomenal introduction, 9.2 million. I think this video does good work. So God bless. I even remember the name of the channel, School of Life, because of this video.
Rejection, failure, that did not exist on YouTube at that time. But I have to nuance that because there are a few problematic things about the School of Life that needs to be addressed. One of them being that they never, or almost never, indicate where they get their scientific information from. Some of their videos are a bit weird or far-fetched, and there's a mega emphasis on childhood traumas as being the cause of every single aspect of our unhappiness. And this is solely based on assumptions that sound true, but aren't scientifically proven. It's very similar to your zodiac sign and what it tells about yourself. You might hold those characteristics as true because you feel like they resonate with your personality, yet there is no science to back that up. And it's fine, it's totally fine, there's nothing wrong with believing in zodiac signs. I mean, sometimes they're quite funny, but I think it's still important to state it. But if the School of Life is looking for someone to hire to bring a bit of social justice, historical or scientific perspective to their content, hey.
I'm almost done with my master's. I need to find a job.
Now this critique leads us to another thing that I'd like to discuss with you. The purpose of self-help, and by extension alternative self-help, is to make things convenient, from the content production to the content itself. And a big part of that convenient aesthetic comes from the general absence of anything remotely political or factual. The concerns are about the self and its ability to filter negative stimulation coming from the outside world so that you feel more at peace with yourself. But the thing is that we don't all face the same negative stimulations on a daily basis. For me, it could be that I failed an essay, that I lost a game at tennis, or that I got a few men's rights activist comments. But for others, it's way more complicated than that. I'm talking about daily social injustices that one cannot welcome with a smile and compassion. You know, some things cannot be processed in silence. Yet what bothers me is that it implies that people who display negative emotions are emotionally unintelligent or unintelligent altogether. I got this comment a few weeks ago and it made me reflect a bit. One thing I thought about was, what would the world look like if everybody adopted a positivity mindset, or as I prefer to call it, a coping mindset? Some people would argue.
Yeah, I have a whole video on so-called toxic positivity and the mega industry that sells you the idea that you can just simply psychoanalyze away very real material realities which are causing your ills. An ideology that says that just putting on a smile and pushing through and embracing some kind of a hollow optimism will inevitably lead you to a happier life, and that anger and being pissed off about the current state of your existence, or just understanding that things are very, very gray, is always de facto very bad and, pushes you down the stairwell of doomerism, etc. etc. It's absolute fucking bullshit. Just like the previous people we talked about here, chat, which again sell you reactionary ideas as to explain away the very real alienation that you might feel, we also have another category of shills which will sell you either very pathetic and basic self-help, like how to become a billionaire in a week, or sell you the quasi-intellectualized self-help where they quote many continental philosophers. By continental, I usually mean European, as a means to introduce some introspective to you, which is supposed to somehow cure you of all of your kind of sense of purposelessness. And while very often that can be the case, as long as they are actively not only being silent on, but completely sometimes even rejecting analyses which are more systematic, the only thing they're doing at the end of the day is just another type of reactionary politics. And while it might not be as radical as reactionary politics, it does the same fucking thing, which is de-radicalize you and turn you into this sort of mellow, little liberal subject that while understanding that things are out of their hands, instead of looking at the system as a whole, they blame they blame individual experiences for something that they might be feeling, right? Which that doesn't undermine individual experiences at all, but when you only concentrate on individual experiences to explain away your ailments, that is leading to de-radicalization and obviously just liberal thinking.
That it would make the world a better place filled with kindness and compassion. That's pretty much what alternative self-help and the School of Life stand for. If only people knew how to peacefully communicate with one another, if only they had done the internal work, developed those emotional skills and mental clarity, we could finally move forward. So what happened is that they refuse to engage politically and instead promote universal moral values, but the message they convey is in fact political. Namely that if your experience of the world has led you to develop negative feelings, hate, violence, revenge, then you need to fix something within you. You are the problem, not the system. You need to develop compassion, understanding for the people who oppress you, because they too are suffering. Alternative self-help gurus will distance themselves from the struggles they don't experience instead of engaging with them, cut themselves from the real world, leave social media, simply because what's going on in the world doesn't affect them. I know YouTube is set in a way that any form of divergence from your niche can be detrimental to your channel's growth, and so I completely understand that Matt, Nathaniel, and Lana don't want to get too political. That's not what their audience is expecting from them. But I hope that they're aware that the message they send through their content echoes that work on yourself to cope with the system without questioning the injustices of that very system type of mindset. And I'm hopeful because they've shown signs that they are. Hear me on this. What if getting angry was self-help? What if talking about social injustices was true self-help? In the past year, I've realized that I've become a better, happier human being by actually decentering my attention from my internal struggles and focus instead on bigger causes, on other people, social injustices, something you find here on commentary channels like this one. And that, for me, that's what self-help truly is.
Yeah, beautiful video, absolutely. The main thing that, in my opinion, we kind of need to learn from it is that while the intention might not be as dark, and while there might not be like insane amounts of lobbying money being put into it, the liberal self-help mentality still punches down and tells the individual that it's completely in their own hands, again, as one person to solve all their ills, etc., etc. And that if we only were to become more positive, more calm, more wise, more understanding of even our oppressors, that will, if we start working on ourselves and everybody individually starts working on themselves, it is going to uplift us as a community, etc., etc., etc. But very often these people stay away from actual material analysis because, again, as she said very eloquently, it will hurt their bottom line because that doesn't make as much money as me telling you that all your problems stem from the fact that your dad didn't love you enough. Okay, and that is a much easier thing, funnily enough, in my opinion, to accept than the fact that we are guided and ran by an inhuman, abhorrent system which cares only about lines and digits moving up. Okay, very nice, very good, great conversations, very good, very nice. Okay, what the fuck happened? Apparently, like, a YouTuber got kidnapped, but we'll get on that after we talk about another self-help dog, and that is Andrew Huberman, or whatever way you pronounce this fucking idiot's name. Andrew Huberman has been apparently exposed. You've probably seen this guy on, like, Joe Rogan. You've seen him sell these massive courses, seen him getting like hundreds of millions of views when it comes to all of his platforms, etc., etc. Let's find a bit more about him and how he has been exposed. Hope he's not a pedophile, though. I wouldn't be surprised.
25th. New York Magazine released a cover story titled Andrew Huberman's Mechanisms of Control, the Private and Public Seductions of the World's Biggest Pop Neuroscientist. The internet seems to be...
Oh, another pop neuroscientist. Remember that atheist guy from back in the day that hated Muslims? I love me some neuroscientists that are talking to me about politics. That's my fucking favorite. It's almost his favorite. It's almost so much of my favorite. It's almost his favorite as fucking psychologists talking to me about politics. Jordan B. Peterson.
Split on whether or not this is a thin hit piece trying to slam dunk on him, or if he is a lying...
Sam Harris. Yes, thank you.
Manipulative, self-serving, narcissistic guru. We're going to separate fact from fiction, identify what's wrong with this article, as well as address some valid criticisms for Huberman. First of all, this article was written by a woman named Kerry Howley, and it's over 8,000 words long. Now, I read the article in its entirety, and I recommend you do the same so you can draw your own conclusions and opinions. However, I also understand that this is a long article. It took me a while, and sometimes it's even paywalled, which is always a good sign for traditional media. We want to be gatekeeping information from the public. If you're too lazy to read the article, and you want me to get to the point, I'll tell you this. The entire premise of this nothing burger is that Andrew Huberman is a womanizer, and he was juggling 6 women at the same time. That's it. That is the story.
Okay, boring. Okay, next video. Sure, I thought it would be actually interesting. Oh, okay. Lol. Let's watch about the YouTuber who disappeared in Haiti.
As the riots in Haiti have brought the country close to collapse.
I mean, this story just sounds like a guy who fucked around and then found out. But let's see.
Journalists have sought to interview the Haitian gang leader named Barbecue, who ominously looks...
I mean, I love these fucking absolute fucking psychos that go and interview like dudes that have offed 20 fucking children, 500 men, and 250 women over when it comes to his narco cartel stories, because I think that's where that YouTuber kind of got into the limelight. But dude, if you thread the line too often, if you jump from a fifth floor 500 times, eventually you're gonna break your leg. So let's see what the fuck is happening.
Very well fed. So now the YouTuber Your Fellow Arab, who's best...
Yeah, Your Fellow Arab, this guy. Like, he's famous for interviewing narco cartel members and higher-ranking members, lower-ranking members, and just asking them the most direct questions I've ever seen in my life. Like, hey, have you killed many people? Oh, how do you cut people's legs off? Oh, why do you cut people's legs off? And they just fucking tell them because they're wearing masks. And nowadays, apparently, everybody wants some fucking internet clout, from ISIS to narco cartels to I don't know who, bro.
It's known for going to dangerous parts of the planet and even interviewing cartel sicarios.
Yeah, exactly. He's a poverty tourist. Yeah, let's go to the weird places that Americans are going to be interested in seeing and show how crazy and weird these places are. Probably he started with, classic
Wonderful,
traveling
a
to
new child
developing
soldier.
world
I mean,
type of things, but
subscriber.
then he moved into like talking to, people in some of the most dangerous places on the planet and the most exploited. Thank you, Sambulance420, for the sub. What Vice News always wanted to be, lol, yeah, pretty much. But yeah, let's see if he got kidnapped.
Set out to interview Barbecue as well.
So we actually cannot leave to...
I love how there's a guy called Barbecue that's leading a militia in Haiti. If that is not the best timeline, I don't know what is.
Port-au-Prince until the morning because it's already 6 p.m. and if we leave right now, we'll get there while it's dark, and that place is completely run by gangs. So you don't want to be dealing with the gangs, even though we have safe passage, we're already approved. All it takes is one stupid gang member holding an AK for one thing to go wrong.
And this is Arab's last known video, as Haiti24.net reports that he was kidnapped, and loosely translating their article, it states the journalist went to interview Barbecue in Haiti, but was kidnapped by the gang leader Lamo 100U, who demanded a ransom of $600,000. They paid $40,000, but the gang is demanding more. Now Lord Miles Routledge, who is also known for going to dangerous places, like traveling to Afghanistan and being taken into Taliban custody for 8 months.
Wait, did they get Lord Miles as well? Oh my god, this guy like begged to fuck around and find out. Jesus Christ. While Mao interviewed him, that's when I recognized that While Mao is actually a communist, and I invited him on the podcast, which then later super hardcore surprised everybody else, even though he states it very openly in the goddamn fucking podcast. But yeah, he interviews this guy in the podcast, but always like puts sentences out like, hey, I don't agree with what this guy is saying. I just think he's an edgelord and it would be funny to interview him, which God bless, absolutely. But wait, did I misunderstand? I am very non-English today. Did he get cat?
Holding an AK for one thing to go wrong.
And this is Arab's last known video, as Haiti24.net reports that he was kidnapped, and loosely translating their article, it states the journalist went to interview Barbecue in Haiti, but was kidnapped by the gang leader Lamo 100U, who demanded a ransom of $600,000. They paid $40,000, but the gang is demanding more. Now Lord Miles Routledge, who is also known for going to dangerous places, like traveling to Afghanistan and being taken into Taliban custody for 8
Yeah, and he was like, I love the Taliban, man. The custody was so much fun, dude.
months and surviving, stated that Arab went to Haiti with a fixer named Sean Rubens Jean Sacre 10 days ago to film the riots, where Arab was well aware of the risks being kidnapped and was subsequently kidnapped 24 hours into his journey. Friends and family attempted to pay the ransom, but it failed, and the US State Department doesn't seem to be helping, despite the fact that Arab is a US citizen currently being held in a cage. And even though they offered to set Sean free, he refused to leave Arab, and Arab still believes he'll be able to make a great video off this incident. But Lord Miles does warn people of all the random rumors coming out, specifically stating don't start or donate to any GoFundMe on Arab's behalf, finishing it with a
Haitian rebels led by a guy called Hamburger caught a guy called Arab from America because he wanted to come and shoot a video. So Hamburger kidnaps American Arab, and that is all being talked about by Catholic guy from Britain that was previously kept in custody by the Taliban for 8 months. I love the internet. Did I mention that I love the internet? Because this is, oh my God, I love the internet.
F all the leftist no-name journalists trying to contact him. Your profession died years ago. Now I know there's a lot of criticism of what Arab and Lord Miles do, and love to pile on the I told you so's when they're faced with the harsh realities of visiting dangerous areas. But this always was their end goal. If the experience didn't bring them to the brink of death, they'd have nothing interesting to share. The same way some people are satisfied with going to the local zoo, and some people need to see the African savannah firsthand. I personally am satisfied with just setting a lion as my screensaver, but I'm not going to sit back with my normie lifestyle and criticize someone living their grandest adventure, because I haven't consumed much of Arab's content, but from what I can see, he was just a regular...
Isn't it incredible how, like, the modern, like, for you to go down a modern adventure, which, okay, let's say it is an adventure to go to places that are traditionally defined as very dangerous and then doing outlandish things. Back in the day, like... how the fuck would you fund it? But now the great content economy allows you to quite literally go experience these insane things and then make a lot of money in the process as well. Hopefully at least a lot of money. Hopefully they're making at least some bread from, I don't know, giving voices to narco murderers. But yeah.
College kid that found success in Fortnite streaming. Then he went into a basic travel vlog that nobody cared about, to getting millions of views floating through Nigeria's slums, living with the cartels in Mexico.
I mean, poverty porn hardcore. This is, let's fucking face this is poverty porn hardcore.
But also setting up fellow streamer I Show Speed in Brazil in his prank kidnapping. And yes, that was Arab behind this. Now obviously when I previously covered this, I criticized him and I even believe Speed cut him off as well. But to my understanding, even though he received over 1 million views for that stunt, he never returned back to prank content and his last 10 videos have been in a tremendous downturn. So I'm 1000% certain that if he can survive this situation in Haiti, he'll be rewarded with all the ad dollars or possibly be devoured. It's super messed up to think.
And obviously I don't want to be that guy in the room, but this guy sounds like the ultimate fucking clout chaser, so he might not be kidnapped, okay? Chances are low, okay, let's always trust the victim, but I wouldn't be surprised. That's all I'm saying, okay?
Of, but he's just living the life of a modern day daredevil, and I feel as long as he's not throwing innocent bystanders in danger, even so-called fake prank danger, he's more than entitled to go after the rewards that come with its risks. That being said, it now looks like Donut Operator from YouTube is considering coming to his rescue, to which if anybody could take over a small country, it would probably be the guy behind YouTuber events like this, to which I've never received an invite to, and although I've never shared on this channel, but I was a Sergeant First Class in both Battlefield on Xbox 360 and Call of Duty on iPhone when I was grounded. So Donut Operator, my DMs are open. Maybe not for the whole storming Haiti and overthrowing a cannibal warlord, but maybe just regular Texas barbecue. And if you appreciate my concise, lighthearted commentary on the tragic status that is today's reality, hopefully I've earned your subscription, then go...
Yeah, okay, thank you, bye. Okay, so yeah, guy goes, fucks around, finds out. Hopefully it goes the same way that it went for Lord Miles, and he makes some great Taliban friends, and it's very funny. I don't know if you know, but like, well, like this is the Lord Miles experience. Wait, there's new Wow Mao videos? That's nice. Average bike fan versus average car enjoyer. We'll watch that afterwards. But yeah, Lord Miles interview. After Lord Miles came back.
No one's had a harder year than
this
me,
is Wow Mao. Like, this is Wow Mao, okay? This is Wow Mao. I am actually secretly Wow Mao, okay? That's just a different outfit. This is my part. Wow Mao is literally me when I was like 21 years old. Like getting fucking shit-faced, passing out on the couch in college and smoking copious amounts of cigarettes, okay? And the same fucking sense of humor, I swear to God. But yeah, on prison. There you go. Lord Miles and what it was like to be arrested by the Taliban, okay?
Why were you locked up in Afghanistan for 8 months?
To be fair, I know it sounds a bit extreme, but it happens to the best of us. You know what I mean? I mean, every day, you know, some people just pop down to Afghanistan and get in trouble. You know, it happens to you and me, all of us. So what happened was I was accused of being a spy at one point. You know, happened because my best friend at the time called.
Speaking of being accused about horrible things, I'm constantly accused about being hardcore communist LARPer only in the name of playing you ads. But unfortunately, that is not my fault. That is Comrade Jeff Bezos' fault. And an ad will play in exactly 30 seconds. If you would like to avoid that and be more like me, do consider subbing and supporting the show. Thank you kindly.
James, we got arrested, we were detained for questioning. So like, Miles, why the fuck have you come to Afghanistan 5 times in the last 2 years? I was like, all right, point. You got a good point there, Taliban. Fair enough. So when we got interviewed, my friend James, he told them, hey, Miles might be a spy. And obviously that's a bit of a stupid thing to say, especially when you're not a spy. Trust me, to work in intelligence...
Oh my god, we got 5 anonymous gift subs, which means they come directly from the People's Republic of China. And when they come directly from the People's Republic of China, we must salute our overlords. You thought I was getting Soros money. You thought I was getting Russia money. No, I am getting good old she-bucks, baby. Good she-bucks. Chimbiling, chimbiling. So let us salute and let us thank our anonymous gifter and afterwards Strum Dog as well. Thank you. Subs coming in from Xi Jinping himself. Fucking play. What the fuck? Sabotage. CIA. Sabotage.
天上太阳风呀风风风嘞，心中太阳是毛泽东嘞，看看到我们的结伴嘞，这里本身当家做主人，一呀一次哟，两呀次哟啊，这里本身当家做主人。
Look, now I'm even walking for you. What was the name of that black dude that was like holding the red book and like singing the songs and dancing? Give me his name. I want to play the video. Brother Hal. This one. This is literally my inspiration. Okay, that's enough embarrassing myself for one day. Oh, Lord.
You need intelligence, and trust me, I'm lacking up there. We have like 70 IQ. It's still first class, but you know. So that kind of raised some eyebrows, and we had to do like a lot of questioning and stuff. The other stuff as well, I messed up. I didn't have a permit to go to a mountain in Ghazni where I wanted to open a gold mine. Because I'm just casually opening a gold mine in Afghanistan, you know. I'm after that economic big bucks, you know.
I completely understand.
Yeah, as a communist, you know, that's a great thing you're into too. Yeah. So yeah, I got arrested for goofing off a little bit. And
oh dear.
We all make that mistake in Afghanistan from time to time.
So you couldn't contact the outside world
for 8
months? You could?
Yeah. I was permitted to make phone calls, no problem. So I would go to the commander, I'd be like, "Sup, commander? Mushkinishta, can I call my government? Can I call my friends?" And he was like, "Mushkinishta Miles means no problem." So I would just call them. Sometimes I would chat for 30 minutes, an hour. They would chill with me, you know. As long as it didn't cross the line.
Literally, dude, brother. Yes, brother. Literally, dude, brother. Being captured by the Taliban seems like a better fucking experience in the U.S. prison system, okay? That is the level we have reached. Oh, wait, no, that is the level we have never left.
Yeah, you contact the outside world, you can make supervised calls, good stuff.
Yeah, that's all fine and good, but why couldn't you post on Twitter?
Well, it's still technically prison, you know, still detention, so I had to be a little bit quiet. But of course, my friends were tasked with posting on my behalf, so they would hear my information on the phone. and go, damn, Miles is having a lovely holiday. Somehow, you know, it's Lord Miles. I'm going to post about it, and everyone denies.
Since we're watching thumbs, apparently our favorite thumb, the thumb of all thumbs, the man who has no opinion and has an opinion on everything, our boy Joe Rogan. Apparently, thank you for the link, chatter. Sorry for not seeing your name. Apparently, he went rogue on Gaza, whatever this means. I'm completely uninformed. So what is this clip? Brother, how dance? Oh God. It's fucking great. It's fucking great. Wait, why is it not showing on your screen? What the fuck? I have too many fucking browse tabs, fucking things open. It's awesome. I'm literally the same. I love it. Okay. So Joe Rogan goes rogue on Gaza, whatever this means, but the Young Turks by big money behind Hassan.
Saying they're only targeting Hamas and everybody else is a casualty. Well, if those guys are just unarmed civilians and they're walking alone, that's what they appear to be.
Dresden.
And you just blast them from the sky with robots.
Dresden.
This is the tragedy of war.
Yeah, this is insane. And no one knows what to think now because
this is the tragedy of war.
Talk about that. If you can't say that's real, then you're saying that genocide is okay as long as we're doing it. And
that is what we're saying.
And if you're saying that from a perspective of someone who literally went through the Holocaust.
You just heard that correctly. Joe Rogan described Israel's actions in Gaza as a genocide during a recent episode.
Dude, when your favorite fucking non-political but very political thumb actually recognizes something as a fucking horrendous, then your mom and dad and uncle have no fucking excuse, okay? The greatest political thinker of our time, the most, the Jesus of our era, Joe Rogan, even recognized this. Okay. Now we shall see massive switches in political thought around the world because the Messiah has spoken.
Of his podcast. Now, he was joined by comedian Kurt Metzger for that conversation, which focused pretty heavily on the war. So without further ado, let's hear more of what they had to say.
The thing that drives me the most crazy when people talk about, well, Hamas is doing this and Hamas doing that. These people, they voted in Hamas. Like, these people are the poorest of poor, deprived of sanitation, education, proper hospital care, food. What the are you talking about? How are they going to rise up? Just run out and get shot en masse until the Hamas runs out of bullets?
If Joe Rogan gets it, nobody has any fucking excuses. Oh, Lord, man. What a great era to be alive. Oy, 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 oy.
And then you bludgeon them to death with rocks?
Guys, Joe Rogan is Hamas. There has to be a meme already. Joe Rogan, Hamas. There has to be. There has to be. Oh, no, there's no fucking... Oof. Unfortunately, there has to be like a picture of him wearing the thing.
What are you saying?
The voting for Hamas, by the way, they forced a vote there. They're like, you have to have a democratic process, and then they voted for Hamas the same way Fatah became a party. So that they voted, then they go, you voted wrong. We're putting you in a concentration camp.
That vote, by the way, happened back in 2006, and I just want to remind the audience that half the population in Gaza is under the age of 18. So the majority of people living in Gaza did not, in fact, cast a ballot or vote for Hamas. But nonetheless, you have the Israeli government
Genocide
using the
is
same excuse, the same argument that, well, they elected in Hamas, we consider them a terrorist group, what they...
Thank you,
Genocide
Redfield.
Israel is
Joe Rogan
committing
is
in
Hamas
Gaza.
now.
It's becoming so incredibly obvious what is happening there. Let's pull up this Gallup poll before we play Rogan. But this is just you can see in this graphic here a Gallup poll that was released yesterday showing how much public opinion has shifted on Israel's military action in Gaza, even with the media blackout leading up to this moment. Leading up to this poll. Like, it's basically, we've been calling it a genocide since November or something like that.
I mean, it was a slow genocide before October 7th.
Right,
frankly.
right, yeah. But even with it being so tilted in the favor of Israel's narrative in the mainstream press, it's becoming incredibly clear. Republicans basically still support Israel's military actions. The question is, do you approve or disapprove of the military action Israel has taken in Gaza? In November, 71% of Republicans approved, 23% disapproved. Now that has slightly changed. 64% approve, 30% disapprove. Independents, now in March 2024, 60% disapprove of Israel's military actions. That's a change from 48% in November. And Democrats in November were already beginning to see if this was disproportionate. 63% were disapproving. Now 75% of Democrats disapprove. So Biden is never going to win over those Republicans. He should be fairly concerned about those independents there. 60% of them disapprove of Israel's military actions, and clearly, I would imagine, by extension, our support of them, especially if that were to be made clear how extensively we support Israel as their chief diplomatic cover in the world, as their protector, as their backer, as the mob boss behind their actions, and as their arms supplier. Now, that shift in public opinion is now reflected by Joe Rogan here, who says the word genocide on his program when speaking to Kurt Metzger, who is going to town on this joint, by the way.
No, backwards, seriously.
They're talking about this within the context of Candace
wait, let me
Owens
log in
being
on my
let go,
account.
or the parting of ways
keep watching this.
from the Daily Wire.
Right.
But she's anti-Semitic.
She is anti-Semitic, and she backed off, I think, frankly, the Israel stuff. I think she's been pretty actually tepid on that. Of course, that was the real problem that they had with her, more than her actual anti-Semitism, which does exist.
Well, they didn't fire her when she was defending Kanye, who was saying, I love Hitler over and over again. They fired her when she started criticizing Israel.
Hey, I want to know what she was fired for. Because was it criticism of Israel? Was it, did she show that Edward Snowden video that he put up on Twitter that shows them drone bombing those kids those men, I should say, unarmed people that were walking towards the rubble that clearly weren't causing any danger to anybody?
Yeah, right.
They just bombed them.
Yeah, no, it's your duty. It's just like for Biden or whoever you like, you're supposed to cover up for them. Because
the whole thing is like they're always saying they're only targeting Hamas and everybody else is a casualty. Well, if those guys are just unarmed civilians and they're walking alone, that's what they appear to be.
Dresden.
And you just blast them from the sky with robots.
This is the tragedy of war.
Yeah, this is insane. And no one knows what to think now, because if you can't talk about that, if you can't say that's real, then you're saying that genocide is okay as long as we're doing it. And
that is what we're saying.
And if you're saying that from a perspective of someone who literally went through the Holocaust, or your people, your tribe, went through the fucking Holocaust, and now you're willing to do it?
I hope the irony's not lost on you.
It's so nuts. It's so hard to imagine that someone... where a culture, like a country was like officially founded in what, 47? 48? Okay, officially founded. So that's so recent. and you guys are willing to do what was done to you that led you to believe that you needed to start your own country? You're willing to do that at least on a small scale in Gaza. Like, there's nothing left. If you see the videos, let's see some recent footage of Gaza.
Yeah.
And so I guess they show that. The problem that Rogan has here is that he's right about the genocide point, but he's wrong about almost every other part of, like, the justification for the creation of Israel. A quick history lesson, the Balfour Declaration was in 1917. Balfour himself was anti-Semitic and did not want Jews in Britain, but there was also a nationalist Zionist movement. Herzl is at the figurehead of that.
Been around for about a quarter century before the Balfour Declaration.
And then it did, because of the persecution of Jews in Europe, begin to ramp up and escalate.
Thank you for letting me cook, chat. Thank you for letting me cook. This is what you subscribe for. This is what you subscribe to this channel for. Joe Rogan, Hamas. Thank you very much for your support. Joe Rogan, Hamas.
During that time period, and it was the Holocaust and the anti-Semitism in Europe that drove many European Jews to Israel. And so that is in part why the state of Israel was founded, but it was mostly founded as a nationalistic project,
Settler
and
colonial
a
project.
settler colonial project, which before it was Israel, it was a British colony. And so, like, to frame it within this context of your people experienced a genocide, and then you turn around and you do it to other people.
Yeah.
Again, it misses the point. And I think it actually inflames anti-Semitic sentiment, because it's not about that. It is about settler colonialism, not about religious war, not about ideology, not about culture, which is what he kept saying. It's a right.
Not even primarily about the
construction.
Holocaust.
Not even primarily about the Holocaust. It's used as justification. I mean, Netanyahu spreads a conspiracy theory that it was actually the Palestinian Grand Mufti who gave Hitler the idea to exterminate the Jews, that he wasn't even that committed to it. The Palestinians are the ones who are worse. So in fact, it is used as a propaganda object. Now, I welcome Joe Rogan saying this. I would not be shocked if he contradicts himself in 2 days. Okay, this is not somebody who is our
Yeah,
friend.
Joe
This is
Rogan,
not
absolutely, we can expect it. Totally, we can
Scary,
expect
bro. I
it.
mean, this would be just like how he's like, you're not on the team if you're anti-immigrant, and
Right.
then now he's basically like, they're invading us, sending hordes.
The only reason I find this fascinating is because of the fact that he's saying it.
Yeah, he's a
And-
gatekeeper on ideas. really,
Yes,
in this-
and the
for
fact
certain
that like anybody who's listening to that show has a lot of influence. It's becoming so obvious, and there's part of me that's just like deeply resentful of the fact that people just didn't pay attention when folks like us were saying that it was.
And that is going to play in exactly 2 minutes and 30 seconds. If you would like to support the show and what we are doing here, which you can see on screen, while enjoying an ad-free experience, please do consider becoming a sub. Be like Joe Rogan. Be a sub. Be Hamas.
Genocide when we were being called anti-Semitic because of it. It's not woe is us. It's just like if people had come to this obvious conclusion before this point,
and
how many lives could have been saved?
And
How
they
many?
need their bubble.
Bro,
it
bro,
needs to
bro,
come through
you
their
hear-
bubble. Like
Bro, you
Candace
hear what's
Owens.
happening in Gaza? Joe Rogan just broke the news.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro, yeah, you're...
You were
I
just,
know.
I mean, but we'll take it. We'll take it, you know?
Yeah, we'll take it.
Even crediting, did Snowden leak that video, or did he just like retweet
He
it?
probably just retweeted
Like,
it.
yeah,
No,
I mean,
he didn't leak it. Al Jazeera did.
The
Yes.
universe of people is so like, oh, Candace Owens said something and Snowden said something, so now we can acknowledge it as reality. It's in front of Kurt Metzger. It is an amazing bubble to like witness, yeah. But I'm glad that the word genocide is punctured in.
Yes, I mean, and we're beginning to the word genocide is almost too delicate of a term for what we're experiencing. This is an attempt for an extermination, because genocide means killing a group in part or in whole.
Plenty of people who like veterans of the fight against South Africa apartheid have said that actually this settler colonial project is more difficult than the South Africa one in terms of prognosis, because they don't want to have Palestinians there working as laborers. They want them gone so they can have the land.
Right, right.
And that's what we're seeing in Gaza right now. That's why you see Jared Kushner talk about the different types of properties that can be made there. You have literally sales going on Zoom across to sell I mean, I don't know how that stuff's legal, but maybe that's we should get an expert on that.
Oh no, don't! I saw today
There
that
you go.
there
I'm
are donation tax deduct.
Rate it. Rate, chat. Rate. How do you rate that one? Anything you would like me to add? Why were his nipples covered? I don't know. They were disturbing. I don't know. I am anti-freedom nipple for men. Allow boob havers to not wear bras, but those without boobs, forced bras for all men. Forced bras for all men. Ban male nipples. Okay. A lot of 10 out of 10s. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
You can donate to a group called IMTI Zionism. Obviously, do not do this.
This is the weakest. This is the weakest anti-imperialist soldier right here. Okay.
They are. It's a tax deductible group.
Wait. Let's be insane. Okay. Wait. Joe Rogan is now Hamas. Did I download it? Where the fuck is it? downloaded it, goddammit.
You can donate to that helps block the aid trucks from entering into Gaza.
I was just about to donate.
Yeah, it doesn't want to
until now.
download. I'll post it later.
I mean, it seems pretty obvious.
Yep.
I mean, it's. I mean, video after video comes out, usually posted by the individuals themselves, showing them blocking the aid.
The saddest part about this is that even when like the
Wonderful,
most
a new
mainstream,
child soldier.
most
I mean,
basic
subscriber.
quality Velja. Thank you, Velja, for the resub. Welcome back, my friend. Thank you kindly. Let's go. Yeah, the saddest thing about this is that it's pretty much not going to do anything. I mean, the fucking obviously it's not. It's a fucking podcast. We're just saying this, even though he's one of the most influential people on the planet. But dude, there's a little thing called the UN, and then it has the most influential branch of the UN called the fucking Security Council, and even they fucking voted against this fucking shit and against the continuation of conflict for a ceasefire. Very English today, me not very speak very good, okay? And we still haven't seen anything.
Wonderful, a new child soldier. I mean, subscriber.
I'm not sure that Joe Biden, by getting us all of the bros on our side, is actually going to tip the scale. But we salute it, we support it, and you know what else we salute? The beautiful, beautiful Strum Dog with the 5 gifted subs. Thank you very much. No ads up in this motherfucker. And Apprentice Pitman for the prime sub. Welcome, 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 welcome. Just like we say, welcome to Comrade Joe Rogan, who probably in a week is going to be like, man, them Arabs. Just like Zizek. Remember Zizek? I love how I started the cancellation of Zizek, the current one. There has been like 700 cancellations of Zizek, but literally in my fucking title, in my name, I would LARP about how I talk like Zizek, right? I have read almost all his works, etc., etc. But no, our boy got old. Kill your heroes. Okay, kill all your heroes.
Proudly blocking the aid, and then you got the IDF soldiers posting their war crimes. I really do think the most bizarre videos. They might not be as gory as some of the other ones, but to me, just something about and the fact that they're so widespread. The videos of the IDF soldiers with the women's like undergarments, the bras,
disgusting.
the panties. It's just disgusting. I just can't get over them. So many of them too, posting that.
Playing with children's soccer balls in their homes that have been demolished and laughing about it and talking about how beautiful the beach is. You just see how deeply the culture of impunity and the brainwashing, the extreme brainwashing,
But yeah, like we're not going to run in circles with this conversation the way our beautiful souls over at the Majority Report are doing, but understand them. That's their grind, etc., etc. It is extremely like it's not working anymore, though. With 7 to 8% of constant like Democratic Party radicals actually voting against their only primary candidate as a show of support for the Palestinian people, with the percentage of pro-Israeli sentiment in the imperial core. We're talking the United States of America going under 40. At this point, I think it's under 35% approval rating for Israel, with the billions and billions of people all around the globe protesting very actively for Palestine, with the Security Council passing this, etc., etc. Like pro-Israeli propaganda is dead in the water at this point. But unfortunately, what we talked about a few streams earlier, it doesn't really matter who is winning the online war. It doesn't really matter who's winning the PR war. It doesn't really matter who people think is the good guy. In the long term, it does, because it's unsustainable, but and it's necessary to be done. Blah blah blah. Everything I'm going to say without me needing to say it. But unless in a unipolar world, when the United States of America are basically the only fucking playable character that matters, their 51st state of Israel is going to act in impunity up until the United States themselves choose to stop the atrocities that are going on right now. When you look at the immediate fucking White House response to the Security Council passing a ceasefire resolution was them saying, haha, hell, whatever, I don't care. Our negotiating table is the only one that matters, and our opinion on what should happen in Gaza is the only one that matters. And we've seen that. That is why us, as anti-imperialists at least, should push for a more multipolar world, not because you need to love Russia or China or fucking Ukraine or Brazil or India. It's because any step taken to change the geopolitical landscape from one in which quite literally there's only one player that matters is a geopolitical landscape in which change is more possible. And I don't know, maybe you're here for other reasons, but as, progressives, Marxists, socialists, anarchists, call yourself whatever you want, change is exactly what we need. And change is extremely impossible in the current state of things, even on a state level, because we have seen the entirety of the planet pretty much. Dude, the UK voted in support. The entirety of the planet sitting down and saying, on this one particular issue, we all kind of agree. And then the only player that matters, that thinks that everybody else is a fucking NPC, that the rest of the map is just a DLC, came up and said, no, I don't give a fuck that you all don't think that my 51st state, to which we refer to what we call Israel here in this chat, they get to do whatever the fuck they want. Sure, we'll stick them a bit because now we see that it might impact our domestic electoral politics, but that's the extent to which we will go. So yeah, a unipolar world where the unipolar power is very much so interested in, let's call it proactive imperialism and colonialism, does not allow for major change. Literally. Americans love saying we shouldn't be there because we have nothing to do with it, while simultaneously saying we should do more in the region, prevent terrorism, etc. No longer are the days for freedom unless you're talking to ultra boomers. Exactly, yeah. And the American populace understands this at this point, even the most basic of Yanks. So now that's why the rhetoric is now very much so changed, and even some American-centric so-called leftists use it. It's better us than them, right? It's better us than them. Well, my brother in Christ, I don't know that. I know what it's like when the American boot steps on me, okay? So fuck you. I don't take that argument. I don't accept it. Because right now, this boot really fucking sucks. Really fucking sucks. And now. Okay, enough about this topic. But yes, officially, Joe Rogan, Hamas. Joe Rogan, Hamas. You chatters all Hamas. Me Hamas. Everybody Hamas. October 7th. There you go. I win in the argument. Thank you for coming to my fucking TED Talk. Now let's watch something more chill, like cleaning graves for clout, because I don't know, that sounds fucking incredible. Okay.
Hello and welcome.
Is Hamas cleaning graves for clout? Is Hamas in our graves? Is Hamas in your grandma's house? Is Hamas what is making this video? Is this man Hamas? Is he Hamas? Is his earring Hamas? We do not know. Let us, say what you think about Hamas. If you choose not to, then you must be Hamas.
To Jarvis Johnson, Gold, the premium channel that is free.
Cleaning graves for clout.
It is free.
Go get some fucking
if
water.
You're watching this, you're
and
premium.
To fart.
And I have an update. A few weeks ago or months ago, I talked about this trend of working for free on TikTok. I talked about this girl on TikTok who would work at Target and other various establishments, Walmart, stock the shelves and organize things and give people money. And also, that wasn't the main focus. The main focus was this woman named the Clean Girl who would go into fast food restaurants and clean the bathrooms. She would not be wearing the proper cleaning gear. she would not get permission from the restaurants. I don't even know if you can get permission from the restaurants because she doesn't work there. Then they would try to, ask her not to do what she's doing. Maybe she means well, she's making content, but assuming she does mean well, they can't verify the chemicals that she's using, and also they're opening themselves up to liability. It's wrong for a lot of ways, but the content's very strange. You can check out that video after this one. It's not required watching. But we're talking about the clean girl again because something that I left out of my clean girl coverage.
Wait, is this the fucking cleaning girl? The girl that goes and takes people's jibs and cleans instead of them and raises the standards that they need to clean in front of their bosses to unachievable levels because she's financially motivated to do so and is going to make like 10K from that video. Well, the lady cleaning it is going to make 10K this year. Is that the same one? Is she going to graves for clout? I love this. I love we're peaking
Wonderful.
as a civilization. Thank you for agreeing with me, Sid CD, for the 3-month sub. Thank you very much. I know I was right. Maybe I should go and record at the grave, As long as I say I don't support Hamas, I will probably be accepted by my colonialist friends, eh? Have you seen the D level celebrities they're inviting over there, like ex-pedos and fucking SA psychos, to go and say, "Ho ho, I am coming to see with my own eyes."
But did notice is that
no, Chad, this is not vodka. Voda. Samo voda, sinovi, samo vodu pijemo mi ovde. Nismo alkoholičari, razumiješ? Barem nismo nedeljom, ajde. Još me boli glava od juče, brate.
Girl's content is about cleaning graves. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's no way to spin this. She makes content about grave cleaning and apparently doesn't get permission to do it, and it's real strange. I was looking for some way to talk about this, but people kept sending me her TikToks, and so I said, you know what? I'm just gonna try and we'll see what happens. But it's very strange and it could be upsetting. It's definitely upsetting to my sensibilities, so I understand if this is not the video for you. The reason I'm talking about this is because of how absurd and strange it is.
You know how I know I have a problem? Because I start thinking, I'm pretty sure I have a problem. One, it's done. Two, it's got a little bit left. It's done. 3, it's done. In a week. 3 vapes in a week. I know this might be nothing for some of you, but for me it fucking is, okay? And I stopped fucking smoking those good old Marlboro Reds, thinking that this is going to save me. And I don't actually smoke it around the house and shit. Only when I'm with you guys. I don't know. I think it's a nervousness mechanism or something. Increasing my IQ through nicotine consumption. But yeah, this is what your subs go to on these little sticks. And it's very non-eco-friendly as well. But hey, individual consumption does not actually impact the global ecological landscape. It is systems which encourage large corporate conglomerates to push us into those directions. Thank you, Entropy in Reverse, for a 21st gift sub. Thank you very kindly. How many puffs? It's a lot of puffs. I don't know how many puffs. It doesn't say on this fucking thing.
And that's usually the type of things that I talk about. And also I've got dark sense of humor. I like watch Family Guy and stuff. It's a look inside my twisted brain, dude.
But first,
very handsome dude.
From today's sponsor,
very, very handsome dude.
Air Up
From one not so handsome dude to a handsome dude. Very handsome dude.
Just kidding. But these are the water bottles that I have, and I like them. With Air Up, you're drinking literally just water while experiencing flavor through scent. It's something that they call scent-based taste. When you drink water through the straw, a slipstream is created which transports air and water.
Brother, just drink water, god fucking damn it. Yes, we are doing ethical reacts, so we have to watch the ad. But can you just drink? Water tastes great.
Personally, I'm a big fan of,
but then again, my favorite drink is vodka, so don't exactly trust me on what tastes good or bad.
Because I just get to experience just water with a little bit of like scent and it.
Storm Dog, I quit smoking 10 years ago, still vaping. Is it
it's my brain.
Do you feel better? 10 years of vaping? I don't know. I feel like there's not enough research on vapes and like IQOS, Europeans know, or Juuls for us to know if what is better or worse. But currently all doctors agree that vaping is much better, but still.
Imperial heads out there, and it's
But some water enjoyer.
So
I like
it's
a
lot
vodka.
of gallons per
I like a
pack.
vodka
Quick
and I
link
like a
in the description.
voda.
Start with Arab today. Thanks to Arab.
I mean, that's why vodka is so good.
Back to the video.
That's why vodka is so good, because it's basically water and alcohol. What else do you need?
I'm at the
Jesus
I'm a
Christ.
simple man. Each pod lasts for at least 5 liters of water.
Yes,
which
hydrate.
is about 1.3 gallons.
And speaking of hydration, you know what hydration of Twitch is? Advertisements. Advertisements given to us by our great overlord Jeff Bezos that we cannot avoid after 3 snoozes. So, if you would like to hydrate yourself with ads, then don't do anything. But if you would like to be a Chad Red Pill ad not enjoyer, I don't know where I'm going with this, do consider subscribing for $5 or for free through Prime. Don't watch ads. Don't hydrate. Be physically unhealthy and mentally healthy. Thank you.
Of water for all you Imperial heads out there, and it's 3 pods per pack, so it's a lot of gas. And now back to graveyard.
I'm at the graveyard at night.
I'm at the graveyard at night. Even that gives you a sense of like the packaging of these videos. It doesn't feel like it matches the tone of what's happening. I've said before that this creator, the clean girl, has perfected Troom voice where it just feels like I'm watching a life hack video. This is the one, it has 1.3 million likes, which is to say it's got a boatload of views. So this one's called I Cleany an Abandoned Graveyard at Night. Ghost, tombstone emoji, hashtag scrub daddy partner. So a couple things here. One, there's the obligatory misspell.
This encourages me to walk around graveyards with a machete at night.
Spelling of a word.
That's all I'm
An
going to say.
important active word in the description is often misspelled for engagement, I think. It's got to be engagement bait. It happens every time. I can't.
If she was just walking around and cleaning graves, okay? Kind of okay. Okay. You know, okay. But you are taking the most sacred of spaces in any culture I can fucking imagine, and you are using it for clout. You are literally worse. I don't think anybody was ever worse, but I think we reached a level literally worse than the clout giving homeless people money guys that afterwards would take the money back. Okay, same fucking levels.
Can't think of another reason that it happens. Cleany. Also, hashtag scrub daddy partner.
We will not go to hell because we are already living in it.
There's nothing inherently wrong with cleaning graves if you are getting
is the
permission,
machete.
For doing it, and I think it can be like a very beautiful thing to clean a grave. But there are creators who do this respectfully, get permission, treat things with the appropriate tone. But this is like the Darmanification of grave cleaning, because it is all of the darkness with none of the tone. I need to show you one of the TikToks that we've looked at before, because they have the same structure. She goes, I'm gonna clean Burger King bathroom for free.
And everybody asks, why do I have a machete? I have a machete because what do you want when somebody breaks into your house? To pull out a baseball bat? Dude, if he's stronger than me, he's going to beat the shit out of me, even with a baseball bat. And you can't really... I've swung a baseball bat in my day, and there's no baseball in the Balkans, okay? It's kind of difficult in tight corridors, which I have in my apartment. But you don't really need to kill the guy if you walk in front of him with a fucking machete at 5 a.m., okay? He's going to turn around and leave, and everybody's going to be happy. So yes, buy a machete, not a baseball bat. What the fuck?
Come with me to clean the Burger King bathroom for free.
And then she starts cleaning, and she goes, I have so many questions.
I have so many questions. Is it okay for me to clean here?
Like that type of thing, that's generally like the flow of the
I'll use a freedom stick, aka gun. Yeah, my friend, we don't have such an easy access to freedom sticks here.
And I need you to see that so that you see that it is...
I'll use my freedom stick, aka penis. Oh God. That was very good. That was fucking great.
Just completely applied to grave cleaning as if a grave...
Dude, that is fucking funny. Dude, like a actual robber. Like a robber walks in, like... He's coming in, and you just like go at him just butt naked. You're just sitting right in front of him, like. You can even T-pose with your dick out. Just T-pose with your dick out. Oh, you don't need guns, dude. That is the true way to do home defense, okay? Man, your wife, daughter, and son are sleeping next to you or in the room next to next to your bedroom, and you hear somebody squeak like coming in, and you're like, "Wife, I protect family." And she's like, "What are you gonna do?" "I'm gonna show him my dick." Dude, if I'm robbing a house and there's a guy that just is standing in the hallway in the dark. With his dick out. I am running so fucking fast. Oh God, I have trained for this. Finally, I get to show my dick to someone except my wife. Oh boy.
Graveyard is the same place as a Burger King bathroom. And as long as I'm not there, it is not. It is not. Unless I had one too many chicken fries. And then you should probably stay away.
Home defense Viagra,
They
yeah.
can only appeal to children. It's like sugar for the eyes, you know what I mean? Some of the things that happen in this creator's TikToks feel like the dark magic that is used to confound the minds of children. Like the specific editing techniques, the oversaturation, the tone of the voice, all of it feels like a spell. All of it feels like some sort of ritual
It is a spell.
that is used to
It is the TikTok spell.
keep a child locked to their screen. It's as if she was trained in the dark arts of Coco Melon and then has started using her powers for evil. I just needed to show you a few seconds of this to jog your memories for those of you who've seen the previous video about this, and to set the stage for what you're about to see, which is exactly the same thing.
Cleaning this abandoned grave for free. I have so many questions in my head. What happened? How did this grave get so dirty? Who's buried here?
Okay. Some of those questions have answers. How did this grave get so dirty? It's old. Is the main contributor to that. The other question that you had was who's buried here. There's a thing called a tombstone.
How is this capitalism's fault? I don't know. I think this would exist in any system that has the internet and has clout as a thing, because you could make an argument that clout would exist in any system, just not necessarily maybe monetizable clout. So yeah, Audrey, I'm not saying this is capitalism's fault. This is just unhinged. This is just unhinged. This is like internet fault.
Wonderful, a new child soldier. Subscriber.
Thank you, new child soldier. Terrible Clark. Welcome, Clark. Welcome. Hope you're not Kent.
Usually it has the name.
Because we're racist towards aliens here, okay? Fucking aliens in my midst. If you do not... If God wanted you to exist, he would have made you in his image. That's like the ultimate like anti-alien racist sentence, like the best.
Of the person that's buried there. And
fucking stole my cows.
Sometimes they're unmarked, in which case that question's valid. In this case, you're about to read the name, so you've answered your own question. So shout out to you, I guess.
So dirty. Who's buried here? Her name's Bienvenida. Wow. Her name means welcome in Espanol. Wait a minute. Her grave should be welcoming too.
This is... Imagine you're dead. You're dead. You're just resting after having lived a life of love, suffering, passion, a full life. You have died either a gruesome death or a peaceful one surrounded by your loved ones. You're finally put to rest in the ground in 1897. 12 decades later, you feel a shake above you. It is the setting up of a tripod. A lady with pigtails takes out a pink spray can and proceeds to spray all over your stuff while talking towards some sort of black box that has a light on it. Spells. We do not have this in 1890. After over 130 years of rest, you're woken up for clout. You are now the most famous dead person on the internet for 5 minutes. You might not have had your 15 minutes of fame while you were alive, but now you do. Millions of people all around the world watching a lady clean your grave. Who says that you have to achieve all your biggest successes while you're alive, baby? No, you don't. Not in today's era. Maybe I can write like a document on my grave. You know how the people say like private property? Mine is going to be like not private property. Please film TikToks around my grave.
It's fucking foul, dude. The scrub daddy smiling at the grave. This is the last thing you see before you die. And your grave is then cleaned by this. I have very important people to me who have passed. If I saw this woman cleaning their graves, I would actually lose my mind. I would be very mad. I would be very mad. Wouldn't think it's funny. I wouldn't think it's cute. Wouldn't think it's nice that it's sponsored. And yeah, I don't think the fact that these are very old graves is any excuse for that, you know? And why are we doing the Dora the Explorer Spanish lesson as well?
Her name is welcome in Espanol.
We didn't need that. I don't think that added any color to the story that you're trying to weave.
This is the dirtiest grave I've ever seen.
Leave Bienvenida alone. I would rather you not clean my grave and stay silent than clean my grave and talk about how it's the dirtiest grave you've ever seen.
Everyone deserves a beautiful resting place. Bienvenida died on July 20.
To an extent, yeah, it is rage bait, and we're all baiting, but Jesus Christ, how do I not talk about a lady that cleans graves for clout? It's fucking incredible. Okay?
3rd, 1980. Her star sign is Aries. My best friend is an Aries.
I don't care. Why are you talking to yourself? Also, 1980 wasn't that long ago. This person has living relatives that could see this.
Bienvenida's life was like. Does she like chocolate cupcakes? What killed her?
We don't want TikTok to get banned, right? Congress is like, they need to sell TikTok. We need to get rid of TikTok. And have it be an American owner or something, or else we're shutting it down. I'm against that. Let the record show. But if they had showed these videos, I feel like it would be open and shut. Unfortunately, you're not helping TikTok's case, okay? It's trending right now that people are posting the reasons to not delete TikTok. And this person is dedicated to posting the reasons to get rid of it forever.
She works for the U.S. State Department against the glorious ways of Xi Jinping's great social platform. It's guys, it's actually it's a red flag operation. Back in the day, CIA used to blow up fucking Communist Party headquarters. Now they just make one of these.
Forever.
Oh, I love it.
I'm really just obsessed with the construction of it, right? Because it doesn't feel like earnest content. It feels like calculated content, where every second of these 44 seconds has been meticulously chosen. Why did she eat a chocolate cupcake? Was she just feeling particularly hungry? She had to bring that from home. There's not a bakery at the gravesite. Also, it's late at night because she doesn't want to be...
There is on the Balkans, man. There's always a food place next to the grave. Because when it comes to specific like holidays, we take food and we eat at the grave together with the dead person. Yeah, Balkans, yeah. You learned something new today.
Caught doing this. She also ate the cupcake after cleaning this with no gloves. And I assume that there's not like running water somewhere that she can wash her hands. I hope that she has the tools and she like brings the appropriate cleaning supplies from home to keep herself clean. But
for a while I was like, man, it would be really sucky for Americans to lose this platform, you know, TikTok, if they ban it. But please ban TikTok in the US. You know why? Because that would create TikTok without Americans for the rest of us. And that is something I would put my life on the line for, okay? I am going to the front to fight in the name of an Americanless TikTok? Are you fucking kidding me? Literally sounds like the best social media platform ever invented, dude, okay? Apartheid, but on social media. That's what we're here for. Hot takes. I'm dropping them harder than Hiroshima.
Burger King videos, she's like on hand.
Build that. Yeah, fuck the Eastern, exactly, Vestalis. Vastalinas. Vaseline. Thank you. Build that TikTok wall. Yeah, fuck Eastern, Western German divide. Build the wall. Build the wall. TikTok segregation, baby.
And a naked knee, like scrubbing down the Burger King, exposing her body to God knows what chemicals. We've talked before about how like when you don't know what chemicals are around and you're using cleaning chemicals, it's very easy to Breaking Bad yourself into some mustard gas or into something that's going to be like toxic to the skin. It just isn't worth it. It just isn't worth the views. I'm without words other than the ones I've said and will continue to say. Oh wait, it gets deeper. The date is July 23rd, 1980, the date of this person's passing. And they say
Bienvenida died on July 23rd, 1980. Her star sign is Aries.
her star sign is Aries? July 23rd. How do we even know her star sign if that's when she died? It doesn't have her birthday. And if this were the birthday, this would not be in Aries. Aries is in like March and April, right? I don't know this that well. I'm a Taurus, by the way, so I know that.
Yeah, but on TikTok, that's a brilliant way of like the reason people misspell things in the description or mispronounce things in the video. I love how everybody loses their mind when that one chick makes a video and she says pesto or pesto. I put pesto on my salad instead of pesto, and she gets like 20,000 comments, which leads to like 15 million views. Like, you fucking gorillas think she would make the same video 7 times and every time mispronounce something so insanely wrong unintentionally? Yeah, that would be the fucking most orangutan fucking human being on planet Earth. But no, that's how they fucking grow clouds, goddamn. But it's not really sustainable. Oh well.
Aries is like
Negative engagement is still engagement, said Adolf Hitler.
right before me. When I die, I'm haunting her. So there's so many details that are just wrong, and it feels like they're purposefully wrong for engagement. It's wild because I am raging. I am taking the bait. I don't think that means the content served its purpose. I think you're still allowed to critique the purpose of the content and the existence of the content, even if its existence.
On the conversation of like star signs, my favorite sentence was that Andrew Tate is basically star signs for men. That was legendary. That's such a great fucking connotation.
Is to make you.
And also says a lot about women and men. Like, women be like, oh, I'll just do this thing that hurts nobody and I'll just have fun with it. You know, you might call me cringe, but I'll just do it. And men are like, I want to destroy and annihilate.
Sad. Because it's not a fictional story. It's a real person's, as far as I know, it's a real person's grave that they're cleaning. I think it'd be a lot more work to create a fake grave and purposefully mess up all of the details. Not to mention this person has a ton of these videos. The video is calculated, it's performative, it's knows it's rage bait, right? And I'm taking the bait. I think that is like a very easy thing to say because it lets off the hook this content existing as if it's valid to exist if it's rage bait, where I'm like, no, I think it probably shouldn't happen. This is not sponsored, but this is a scrub mommy, and it's bristly on one side and soft on the other side. Just thought you should know.
So yes, thank you very much, Jarvis. Go and sub to Jarvis. Why is your name the same like an app that I know? Leads us into a very interesting video that I saw that I wanted to check out. Ro again sent me the link. Why do cops like anti-cop music? I have nothing to add to this conversation, but I just wanted to like watch it because I've always been interested in this sort of mentality, if we want to call it this. Fucking cops wanting to be gangsters, and because they're actually they become a part of the biggest mob in the country. But yes, why do cops like anti-cop music? Why does the thumb like the rap? Why does the thumb want to be the cool guy while at the same time literally being a representative of the status quo? What is wrong with the cop in capitalism versus potentially in any other system? Is the cop always necessarily evil as a concept, or does that come rooted in its reflection to the system it represents? All much more complicated topics. Today, we only look at why do cops like anti-cop music. Just sounds like a great topic. So that dang dad. I'll please link the video, my dear beautiful mods. Thank you kindly. Speaking of music, a few bars that I need to drop right now. Yeah. That is an ad that's going to play. And if you do not want to watch the ad, do give a $5 or for free through Prime. Support the channel and have an adless experience. Yes, I am white. -8 out of 10. The son of the police.
Hey there, welcome to That Dang Dad. My name is Phil, and tonight I want to talk about an
Subscribe for
interesting
cannabis.
situation that I encountered and participated
Yeah, it's playing in
when
15 seconds. Thank you for asking.
I was a police officer. As many of you know, I was a cop in Southeast Los Angeles for almost 10 years. Now I'm a police and prison abolitionist. You don't have to agree with police abolition or even know what that means. Just know that I am now a fierce critic of the behavior and culture of cops based on things I've seen and done on duty, as well as things that I've learned about the history of policing and prisons in the United States. A while back, I did a video on Rage Against the Machine, and many commenters on the video mentioned that they knew active duty cops and military as well as right-wing politicians who loved listening to Rage. People
Like the fucking cognitive disassociation you need to have to be the machine and listen to Rage Against the Machine and be like, man, these guys really do be telling the truth to power. Oh wait, there's an racist term on the street walking alone. Let's go. Hate crime, and then they come back and like, yeah, that new album, Rage Against the Machine, they really are telling the truth to power, my brother. Brother, they're telling the truth to power, brother.
Flabbergasted that cops and chuds didn't understand that they were the machine being raged against. Well, I want to talk about that in detail, and to do so,
I like this guy. He's an ex-cop. He has like a shit ton of pipes behind him. His art is absolutely gorgeous. Shit. He's got great taste. Immediately like this person. Great taste.
So I want to do you one better. Me and the guys that I worked with used to blast KRS-One's Sound of the Police from our cop cars on duty, especially rolling up on calls for service with the windows down. I knew.
Yeah, Dathlib 725. Yeah, fuck you. I won't do what you tell me, but they think it applies to laws and not killing minorities. Ugh.
The guys who would play it through the loudspeakers when they went to go break up parties or hassle gangsters or whatever. How could cops gleefully blast anti-cop music from a cop car, you might be asking? I'm going to give you two answers to that. The first one will make you mad. The second one may teach you something about cop brain that you never knew before. And it just might make you even madder. Curious? I bet you are, you saucy little minx. Come, I have such terrible sights to show you. Anyway, let's start by
Well, I'm horny now. Damn. I'm horny for this dad. God damn it.
talking about the song itself. Obviously, I can't play the whole thing for you because of copyright protection, so I'll link it in the description. But the main thing you need to know is that it has a really strong start.
Call the police. Call the police.
It essentially functions like wrestling entrance music.
For
with
so many years, I was singing there's a sound cannabis. Like I was, because I thought the cops were chasing a guy with weed, right? So I was like, woo, woo, smell of the cannabis. But no, it's Sound of the Beast. It's much darker, actually.
that iconic beginning. So when you picture cops using it as a cell phone ringtone or blasting it from the car, for a lot of them, I don't think it's any deeper than that because they may have never actually listened.
Listen, I was a antisocial World of Warcraft kid until I was pretty much like 16 and a half. And then I don't know what the fuck changed. Hormones or I got a haircut, right? But yeah, I was cringe, but in a good way. You always should have an part of your life that is cringe because that allows you to understand fellow cringe people and not, put your nose up in the sky and think you're something better, okay?
Into the lyrics. Lyrics that say things like, I know this for a fact, you don't like how I act, you claim I'm selling crack, but you be doing that. I'd rather say see it because I would never be a off.
There you go, louder. Thank you and apologies for the sound things. I don't know what's going on today.
Officer, you wicked overseer. You hot shot, want to get props and be a savior. First show a little respect, change your behavior, change your attitude, change your plan. There could never really be justice on stolen land. Let me tell you from experience, if there's one thing cops hate, it's being told to show respect to members of the public.
By the way, welcome to Hassan Industries in the chat. I've been told that they're in the chat. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope you enjoy your stay.
Especially people who are, police officers are trained to demand and expect respect from members of the public, and they withhold giving it until you've earned it from them. So right there, you'd think cops would hate this song. But then the lyrics get even more feisty. And yes, I know me reading out rap lyrics is like the height of cringe, but my hands are tied here. Anyway, he goes on to say, Yeah, officer from overseer. You need a little clarity? Check the similarity. The overseer rode around the plantation. The officer is off patrolling all the nation. The overseer could stop you what you're doing. The officer will pull you over just when he's pursuing. The overseer had the right to get ill, and if you fought back, the overseer had the right to kill.
The officer has the right to arrest, and if you fight back, they put a hole in your chest.
In a couple previous videos, I've touched on the origins of modern policing and how police departments evolved, directly or indirectly, from fugitive slave patrols. An entire genre of vagrancy laws were invented during and after the Civil War to criminalize newly freed black people and allow cops to put them in prison where they were, you guessed it, forced back into labor without their consent. So KRS-One is absolutely 100% not being hyperbolic when he links police officers to plantation overseers. There is a direct line there. And because of that, it's also apt to link the plantation overseer's exclusive monopoly on violence to a police officer's similar monopoly on violence. So, for as fun as the whoop whoop beginning is, the track is very, very unapologetically anti-cop and in no uncertain terms. Why would a police officer tolerate the song, much less play it gleefully? Same with a cop playing Rage Against the Machine or NWA or Calloused Cowboys. How can they listen to music made by people who loathe them? Like I said, I have two explanations. The first is as simple as it is infuriating. It's a display of total power.
Yeah.
A cop blasting an anti-cop song with a smile on his face is showing you that your pouty little art projects have no effect on him.
Yeah.
He is showing you that he isn't threatened by radical art, that it is so powerless to affect change, he can even enjoy it and dance along. I remember once on patrol we were hassling some gang members loitering at a park or what.
You're just pissing on it. You're taking out your dick and you're pissing on it. Ironically listening to any of that sort of shit. So yeah, the first category, as we've learned, they ironically listen to it just as a power trip of being like, haha, look at what they're saying about us. Now let's go do our fucking job, which actually nobody can stop us against doing. And there's some larger commentary to be given there about art in general, and its kind of inability to work as a political tool, of means the way it did before, because it's very much so commodified to a level that it's never been done before. So it, while it may be, so what I'm saying is art is defined as good nowadays if it sells a lot, if it's listened to a lot, if your painting is, has as many print copies or is sold for a big buck to some rich guy, or when it comes to music, just sells records, etc., etc. So a lot of people that go into art are not necessarily there out of passion and out of, trying to show others how they see the world, putting their soul on display quite literally, but quite to the contrary, they are there because they want to make some buck. And that further dilutes the industry, if we can call them that, and fills them up with basically, just shills that want to make some money, and don't want to work in a fucking factory or in an office, right? And once that becomes kind of the main driving incentive for art to be created, it just leads to nobody really being motivated by their art kind of sending a social political message. And therefore that gets put into the fucking fifth category that absolutely nobody cares about, except to sometimes, as we can see here, very egoistically, people that this music is directed against, who sometimes consume it just as a lol and as a gotcha.
Whatever. And one of them said something to me like,
"You're just a fat pig who was too stupid to get a real job."
So I smiled and I said, "Hey, stand up." He stood up, probably assuming I was about to arrest him or something. And then I said, "Okay, sit back down." He sat back down, all confused. And I said, "I may be a fat, stupid pig, but you still stand and sit when and where I tell you to." I'm not proud of this attitude, but it is the same mindset as with anti-cop music. Tell your little jokes all you want. You still obey me. I'm still above you. This idea reminds me a lot of what big brain academics would call recuperation. Ron Adams, translating Guy Debord, defines recuperation as the process by which politically radical ideas and images are diluted, twisted, co-opted, absorbed, diffused, incorporated, annexed, and commodified within media culture and bourgeois society, and thus become interpreted through a neutralized, innocuous, or more socially conventional perspective.
Yeah, what I told you previously, but phrased instead in a 3-minute monologue in a beautiful, beautiful paragraph. And no, I have not pre-watched, motherfuckers.
However, the anarchists of the Ontario-based North Shore Collective put a little spin on this idea, and I think it's really apt. In a blog post opposing a prison expansion, they write, "The state will try to undermine any anti-expansion organizing taking place, and the best way for them to do that is to take up a version of our demands and use them to justify expansion and reform. In a word, recuperation. Recuperation is when the state or another powerful body tries to involve its critics in a process of transforming the institutions they criticize." And this is a great segue into the second explanation I want to offer for why a cop like me would blast Sound of the Police. In fact, let's talk about a cop like me. Specifically, me. Back on patrol, I listened to all the lyrics. I even understood what they were referring to. I understood Sound of the Police as a biting criticism of police work, a career that I took a lot of pride in at the time. But even though I was susceptible to haughty demonstrations of power, that wasn't the headspace that I was in when I was listening to KRS-One. See, I would have told you, and quite sincerely, that I was not a racist cop. That I, in fact, hated racist cops. I would have told you that I was actually pretty reasonable and actually pretty cool, and thus I could listen to KRS-One critique the police because I agreed with him that cops who act like plantation overseers are bad. And I could agree with him because I wasn't one of those bad cops. I know. Just settle down, we're getting there. As a white guy raised in upper middle class Orange County, my understanding of racism is that it was a personal failing mainly perpetrated by loser skinheads and hillbilly Klan members. Racism was a bad thought that one guy would entertain about another person that could lead that guy to making a cruel or violent choice. And I was raised on Captain Planet and Fresh Prince and very special episodes of Saved by the Bell. So I knew that everyone was created equal, that no one should be mocked or hassled just for being different.
And that doesn't just apply to cops or any different arms of the capitalist or in certain cases even fascist states. Let's look at the way the wealthiest amongst the bourgeois live right now. A few days ago, we talked about Elon Musk as a great example of capitalists no longer being satisfied with just the incredible power disbalance that they are privileged with controlling. No, they now need to also feel like our saviors, as the good billionaire, as the one who doesn't just make money off of selling, I don't know, something stupid like cheese or diapers or chemical substances, right? No, I'm the good type of billionaire, and I get to feel like I'm a part of the people, which is very much so Elon Musk's hardcore LARP that he definitely full-heartedly also believes, right? So it's very often what in groups, how do I use as simple as terminology as possible? When you're the bad guy, you don't want to think you're the bad guy, but then everybody's shouting, "Oh my God, you're the bad guy." And you're like, no. There are some rotten apples amongst us that are the bad guy, but I'm from the good bad guys, okay? Elon Musk, for example, is a literal, a person who, to an extent, cares enough about what other people think about him that he has engaged with the criticism of, hey, billionaires maybe should not exist at all, but also does not want to deal with the absolute schizophrenic kind of existence in which he finds himself in, which is he is both the greatest, a representative of the greatest exploiters, but also wants to be a man of the people. And when you melt that together, very often the way for you to kind of excuse away your both your privilege, but sometimes even your wrongdoings, you just say, yeah, I might not be perfect, but I'm not one of the worst ones, etc., etc. And this applies even to ethnic groups. For example, how, for example, let's talk about my people. Balkan Slavs will say, man, we are so fucked up when we go to the West, like we're criminals and so on, like internalized racism. But then they will say, but at least we're not as bad as the Roma, right? There's much worse ones, okay? We're not like very often, again, Balkan people, specifically Romanians and Bulgarians, I noticed, they're like, no, the reason like our citizens that live over there that, act like so-called barbarians and are very like do illegal things, those are not actually Bulgarians or Romanians. Those are the Roma people that went there, that tell other people that they are Bulgarian or Romanian and therefore smite our good name, etc., etc. So self-hatred coupled with hatred of the other, or in this case, excusing away the actions of your group, when it comes to real actions, not racist shit like defining all Bulgarians or Romanians as fucking criminals, fucking idiotic, as the actions of only a smaller category. And that is why we're left with, this kind of schizophrenic entity, which is the people's billionaire and the people's cop.
Different. I had dated black girls and Mexican girls. My ex-pastor dad was tight with his Hispanic outreach.
Something like that happens in the Middle East. That happens absolutely everywhere, man. That's just classic.
Each team. I used to swap shareware game CDs with the Dominican kid on my bus. Shout out to Wani. Hope you're still gaming out there. In fact, I guess you could say I was pretty colorblind. So when
my favorite response to this was, what was it? Yeah, it was like, what do you do at the stop sign? Speaking of being colorblind, one thing, no matter how colorblind you are, that you will have to watch in exactly 2 minutes and 15 seconds is an ad. If you would like to become blind to ads and force our great overlord Jeff Bezos to not play any of them to you, then embrace the blindness through subscriptions for $5 or for free through Prime a month. It's basically a can of beer. Thank you for your consideration.
KRS-One or Rage Against the Machine were yelling about racist cops, racist governments, fascism, injustice. I could nod and say, yeah, I'm totally with you, with absolute sincerity and a totally clear conscience. Their critiques were valid. I didn't want to return to segregation and Jim Crow. I didn't support Westboro Baptist protesting funerals. I was a huge critic of LAPD's corrupt Rampart division at the time. I never once planted guns or drugs on anybody. And I saw American History X like 5 times. To put it simply, KRS-One and Rage Against the Machine were complaining about those guys over there, not me. Of course, this is incorrect. It wasn't until many years later that I understood what the machine meant in Rage Against the Machine. It wasn't until years later that I understood that KRS-One's linking of police...
And again, we don't like being run by a fucking algorithm we call the market, okay? The Bezoses, the Elon Musks, the owners of LVMH or whatever other billionaire are just like a small, little, insignificant fucking consequence. Yes, even those 0.00001 percenters, in comparison to the ever-consuming, ever-eating, fucking hungry, digitalized monstrosity that we created with the modern capitalist economic system, they're fucking nothing. They're specks of fucking dust, which makes you a speck of a dust on a speck of a dust that's on the beach of a planet that is in an ecosystem that, again, is reconcentrated in a speck of a dust that is on your favorite beach, right? But still, they're also like just a thing that this thing puked out and put on top of the chain. It is the machine that you should rage against, not Hurdur. I hate Jeff Bezos, especially not Jeff Bezos because he's my boss. But you get what I mean. This does not mean you should pity the billionaire. Fuck that shit. Just by individualizing the problem, being like, oh man, I really, one day I would like to walk through the street and throw bankers out of windows. Shit like that. It's again individualizing it. They're a consequence of their material reality as well. If you grew up the way they did, you'd probably be the same, okay?
To slave patrols wasn't just for thematic flavor. It took me a very long time to understand that racism, that fascism, that injustice wasn't merely something that individuals did to other individuals at specific dates and times, but rather interlocking systems that are self-perpetuating and all-encompassing. The area that I worked in was about 90% first and second generation immigrant, mainly from Mexico, but also Guatemala, El Salvador, and Honduras. And while I could confidently say I don't arrest people just for being Mexican, it took me many years to see that the system, the machine, didn't need me to be personally bigoted to do the work of bigotry. When an immigrant can't get a driver's license and can't get a legal job, so they get paid under the table, get exploited by their boss, and we show up to keep the peace if they complain, it doesn't matter whether the responding officers like Mexicans or not, because the cops will protect the exploiting boss over.
Or if they beat the shit out of them or just intimidate them by being there. Like, okay, sure, beating the shit out of them is worse subjectively, but you get my point. You're still fulfilling your place in the chain. You're a part of the chain. You're a part of the system. Doesn't matter how like intensively you're represented or not as intensively represented. You are there to a much greater extent than any actual like proletariat job, because these are again not proletarians.
For the exploited worker. When an immigrant is kept in a state of precarity through this labor exploitation and they can't make rent, the cops showing up to forcibly evict them are contributing to that exploitation, whether or not they gave The Blind Side 5 stars on Letterboxd.
Thank you, Filibuster.
And when some children of these precarious families grow up watching society exploit and abuse their parents and they act out in rebellious ways, cops enforce the curfew laws, the loitering laws, and the vagrancy laws that trap those kids in a carceral vortex that strips them of agency, strips them of legal protection, and opens them up to, you guessed it, labor exploitation inside prison and out of it. There's this phrase I've been obsessed with ever since I heard it a few weeks ago.
The ancient meme that I will probably repeat for the 5th time since I started streaming on this platform. Gulag's very bad, okay? Gulag's not good. Gulag's very bad. But last Gulag in evil Soviet Union closed in the 60s. The United States of America, the most prosperous nation to ever exist, quote unquote, at least on paper, still fucking has Gulags, okay? Just, oh my God, they're not political prisoners. Okay. They smoked weed. Good. That means it's not a gulag. Good for you. Well, you definitely live a much fucking fancier life than I do.
It's a systems thinking heuristic coined by cybernetics researcher Stafford Beer, and it goes like this. The purpose of a system is what it does. What this means is that, according to Beer, whatever the designers and builders of a system claim to want, a system's purpose can be discovered by the actual effects that it has in the world, rather than effects it consistently fails to achieve. If a system constantly arrives at a certain outcome, that outcome is the purpose of the system. The outcome our police and prison system consistently achieves is one in which racialized, queer, and disabled members of the community are kept in a state of legal and economic precarity that enables capitalists to use them either as cheap labor or as a warning to other workers about what will happen to them if they stop cooperating. The police and prison system consistently fails to achieve safer, thriving communities, long-lasting behavioral interventions, or long-term economic stability in those who find themselves caught in it. The purpose of a system is what it does. The purpose of the police and prison system is to create exploitable labor, a docile public, and otherized scapegoats for that public to rally against. This is what KRS-One and Rage are talking about. And when you tell me that actually your brother, your aunt, your best friend is one of the good cops, this is the analysis that I am 99% certain that your brother, your aunt, or your best friend aren't grappling with. They are one of the good ones in a system whose purpose is to suppress and exploit. Well, so was I. It's bullshit. It's like looking at a gun that was used in a mass shooting and expecting me to care that the steel in the barrel was high quality. Who gives a fuck? So anyway, the next time you hear a cop's ringtone come in with that iconic whoop whoop, the next time you see Paul Ryan clanging iron to Killing in the Name of, it may be that they are showing off a little arrogant capitalist recuperation, Or it may be even worse. They may be so vain they don't realize the song is about them. So, what's your reaction to all that? Which one of my explanations frustrated you more? And what does this mean for artistic critiques of power? Is there even any point if they're just gonna get recuperated all to fuck? Let me know what you think in the comments. Anyway, thank you for indulging me with your presence tonight. I'm not trying to dine out too much on the whole ex-cop thing, but this topic has been on my mind for a while, and I thought you might find it interesting. If you did, a like would go down real smooth. And a subscription?
Goes up to That Dang Dad. That is a mouthful, but beautiful work. And thank you for not serving us anymore, dear sir. Very nice, very good. Hey, Hugo, explain this. How American gulag exist if not trained to travel them? Checkmate. Yeah, absolutely. American give horse, man, and whip to move a gulag American man in prison. Yeah, very good, very cool video, very cool gentleman, and general topic of conversation about how impactful art which intends to be political can be. I think it can very much so be. The only, not critique, I don't want to call it critique because it's not critique against the art, but against the system which manages to even commodify art that is against them. I mean, to an extent, what we're doing here, but trying to have fun. I'm trying to entertain you, but also in the meantime, if I get to change your mind on a particular thing or introduce another concept to you, quote unquote, radicalize you, the better. Great. You know, we're having fun and we get to learn something. You know, I feel like I've done my part for the movement. But also from another perspective, I am very much so a victim of the commodification of even radical anti-capitalist rhetoric, right? Like the system has created a kind of a vacuum in which I can both espouse these ideas and also like put food on my table, especially thanks to all the beautiful patrons. And you can take that as an analysis of from the perspective of, hey, the capitalists are just selling us the rope we will hang them with, or you can look at it from the perspective, hey, Ugopnik is just participating in the further commodification of anti-capitalist mentality, right? Just how you can talk about Rage Against the Machine in the same way, even though I'm not creating art, they very much so are, and about every fucking documentary ever made, etc., etc. I feel like kind of the main answer. Thank you very much, Juice0666, for the sub. 3rd month. Welcome back. Thank you kindly. The conversation is somewhere in the middle. Yes, this is active commodification, but the second it stops being just content for the sake of content is when my aspect of the funnel I do properly from the perspective of moving you further down to it, leading you to actually organizing, leading you to actually doing propaganda yourself, leading you to participate in your local communities, etc., etc. If I was just regurgitating this shit so that, hey, guys, we get to sit here and be the most right because we're communists and we have material analysis and we are the most right, then in my opinion, that would just be pure commodification. But I'm genuinely trying to use this thing called the internet to, yes, of course, put bread on my table, but also to not participate in capitalism, the least that I potentially can, while also trying to help out a movement I believe is not only good, but kind of the only alternative really that we have to this hellhole we find ourselves in, right? So it's somewhere in the middle. Am I commodifying it? Yes, I am. Can you make absolutely anything without commodifying it nowadays? No, you can't. I literally, like if you can commodify fucking Marxism, if you can commodify your fucking children, you can commodify absolutely everything. But as long as you remember why you are doing it in the first place, while you're raising the child, while you're fixing the car, while you're making the song, while you're doing the stream, while you're donating in the stream, whatever the fuck, then I think the consequences will be... then I think you're in it for the right reason, right? Thank you, Xi Jinping, for the gifted sub. Thank you very much. We'll salute afterwards to our great overlord. But yeah, can commodify a stranger's gravestone? Noam Chomsky, by the way, my favorite name up on here. Noam Chomsky. Yeah, When we can commodify that, we can commodify absolutely everything. If it's any consolidation about Paul Ryan, there was a story that he met Seth Rogen and said he's a huge fan. Can he get a pic? Seth said hell no and called him an asshole in front of his kids. Damn, son. Stop shitting on us with your European public transit. One of the good ones. Have you heard? Yeah. Yeah. So pretty much that's the conversation. Thank you very much, Calm Like a Tom, for your 28th gift sub. Thank you. But yeah, do you commodify? Do you not commodify? It's since now creators starting to make videos about this. I fucking made a video about this like fucking 6 years ago. Okay, if you're doing your part in pushing people further down the pipeline, then in my opinion, making this shit, and any of you considering doing similar shit, is praxis. Sorry, fuck you, I think it's praxis. I think it is doing decent agitation, right? But if you are just circle jerking and behaving like what in my video that we need to rewatch, actually start up some drama on the left-wing pipeline, right? This one. Then you're just completely commodifying it and not only not furthering the cause, but very much so hurting it. Yeah, this video, the left YouTube pipeline, right? Then you're just fucking things up for absolutely everybody. And you're in it just to make money. And we see a lot of people on this platform, some banned from this platform, doing it exactly for those reasons. And that's why in this video, I specifically call them the tumors, because they're not helping the pipeline in absolutely any way. The ones that... this is my favorite frame. My absolutely favorite frame of all time. So yeah, that basically I'm on a rant about how I manage to sleep well at night, because I would not be able to sleep well at night if I thought that this is just shouting into the void and begging for subs. Okay, even though the subs are very enjoyed. And yeah, I think that would be a very nice spot to kind of finish it off. If you make any sort of art, if you make any sort of let's call it content, if you have some relative freedom in what you get to put on paper, what you get to put on a canvas, what you get to put in a melody, and you can sneak in a bit of class consciousness in it, I think you don't hurt anybody by doing it. That's for the people who want to participate in the agitation segment. The rest of you fucking organize, and I think all of you at this point know exactly what that means. Sorry if it's irrelevant. Have you seen the latest Sisyphus video about the left? The 5-hour thing? Yeah, I'm in it at some point. I don't know. I haven't watched it. It's 3 fucking hours. But yeah. You didn't mention Majority Report in the vid. Yeah, some I couldn't because there was just too many. Some I just literally forgot. But yeah, I like Majority Report. They're very high up on the funnel, but they do good work. They do very good work. Yeah. Well, now let's make somebody relatively happy and send all you beautiful 660 souls that have stayed with me to the end. For a very long time there, we were hitting a constant 750. So we're getting closer and closer to that good old 1K Andy experience, baby. We will one day become what other streamers refer to as basic, but something that we consider a great privilege. Thank you for all the subs. I will put up my schedule on Discord, by the way. Write !Discord if you want the link. Please do join us there on Discord, where you can follow it, and on my Instagram and Twitter account. So maybe I'll stream tomorrow. I'll do my best to stream tomorrow, and I'll try to stream 4 times next week, my beautiful souls. We are growing, and we shall continue to grow, just like your favorite looking... Yeah, I was going to do a sex joke, but I refuse to do it now.
Wonderful, a new child soldier, subscriber.
Thank you very much, Inert iLink. What? How do I pronounce this? Inertia Link. There we go. For the sub. Welcome, my beautiful soul. Welcome. Okay, so who do we want to raid right now, eh? Rotted Ranch is doing a Palestine fundraiser. That sounds fantastic. Let me just check it out and make sure that it's... the right thing. We're funding the PCRFC.
That was salmon underneath there.
What's spotting that salmon?
But are they asleep? Are they still there? No, I mean, I don't care. If it's a fundraiser for Palestine, then fuck yeah. Okay, I got a 24-hour KIA-thon charity stream. Lovely. Go there and donate, I guess, or something. I don't fucking know. Inertia link. Yeah, thank you. Okay, Rotted Ranch. Let's do this. By the way, when you're on other fucking streams, make them fucking raid me. Nobody's fucking raiding me. I'm kind of a butthurt little boy. I'm a butthurt little boy. Yes, very good. Okay, thank you everybody for joining. Go. I don't know how the donation thing works, but do follow them. Do give them money. I don't know how it works, but yes, spam. You know what to spam. Mods, show them what to spam. The raid. There's a raid emoji. That's what you need to spam. Thank you very much for coming. See you next time. This has been a privilege. Look out for the fucking Twitch thing. I will show Twitch schedule and Discord schedule. I will show when I will stream next time. Very high chance tomorrow. Mwah. Now I'm going to go and drink some fucking beer. Bye-bye.